we're going to advertise Pizza Hut in the shop.
Right, yeah.
No, it's not in the shop. I cropped it so it's not in the shop.
Hey, David.
Hello.
You're on the internet.
Hello and welcome to Family RPG. I'm David Leonard, your game master for Star Trek Adventures. We haven't played this in quite a long while. We played through the entirety of the first volume of the Mission Compendium. This is the second volume, the last mission of it. This seems to be a little better organized than the first one. It actually has, this mission is called the Angstrom Operation. So, Captain's Log, Stardate 45641.2. We are on a 1 week into a patrol of a Cardassian demilitarized zone. Our Cardassian friends continue to trail us on their side of the border, but there's been no sign of hostility. Being this close has the crew on edge, but I have no reason to believe this will be anything other than ordinary. Meanwhile, the ship receives a Priority 1 transmission from Starfleet Command, ordering you to proceed at maximum warp to the Dran-Ankos system. So, Captain's Log Supplemental. I may have spoken too soon. We have received a Priority 1 message from Starfleet ordering to the Dran-Ankos system, just on the edge of the demilitarized zone, to lend assistance to a research base that has gone silent after sending out a disturbing message. Looks like our routine patrol is going to be anything but. Along with the orders, the message from Starfleet included a recording of the final transmission from the Angstrom Research Facility. Transmission 4 days earlier showed nothing out of the ordinary. Transmission, which is audio only, has been identified as coming from senior stellar researcher Amelia Adams. In the recording, she be heard crying out in agony. The only words that are intelligible are, "The mutiny failed. They're everywhere now." So, for the first roll of the game, I'm going to need someone to make a reason and security check.
Oh.
Difficulty 0.
Okay. That's a really great combination I designed anybody for. Reason and security, I have 12.
I have 12.
Oh, no, you have reason security be 14.
Wait, what?
So your reason is 12, your plus security.
Oh.
Add those together, yeah.
Oh. I have
Where's reason at? Oh, there. Okay.
Yep.
Never mind.
I lost reason. Where's reason?
Right here.
I got 14 on reason security.
So you, you take reason and
I
then
got
you
12.
add to your security. You have 14. You guys have more than
I got 14.
Okay, so whoever wants to do it, take 2 of the d20s and roll them, and if both of them are under 14, those are successes.
Only one person gets 2?
Yeah.
Okay. You both have 14, so yeah.
You got 12 and a 1.
Yep. Ooh,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
That's 3 successes.
All right.
2 momentum. 3 momentum, actually, because you got that 1.
Yes.
Yes.
You're welcome. There you go. So this is basically researching the Angstrom Research Facility before you get there. Located on the Dran-Ankos Prime, the base is located on both sides of the tidally locked planet. The majority of the structure is on the night side, including housing, recreation, and operational areas, including the shuttle bay. The day side contains the research labs. 2 surface tubes, just under 5 kilometers long, connect the 2 halves by a tram system. The staff includes Base Commander Tuvok, or Vitok, sorry, transpose the letters there. Vitok, total complement 64, 55 researchers and 9 support staff. Base specifications, accommodations for up to 75 members. Type 2 solar shields and 2 shuttles. Primary mission, research into the deuterium potential in low-mass brown dwarf, such as Dran-Ankos. Phase 1, limited photosphere agitation and gas sampling. Phase 2, inversion testing for coronal mass capture and refinement. Phase 3, classified.
So they're mining a sun. Okay.
So, under maximum warp, it takes about 7 hours to reach the Dran-Ankos system. The moment you come out of warp...
I'll get there in 6.5. Alright.
The moment you come out of warp, it appears that something is wrong. Dran-Ankos is a Class T brown dwarf. Magenta substellar object has only a single planet in orbit. Files on record note that it is very stable with an average temperature of 940 Kelvin, but sensor readings are terribly erratic. The brown dwarf's temperature has risen to 1,100 Kelvin and is unleashing strong bursts of X-ray radiation throughout the system.
It can see through us, oh no.
So your sensors are now hampered by the stellar emissions from the brown dwarf unless you have something to overcome that.
The what now?
Stellar emissions. So there's interference coming from this brown dwarf star that are affecting your sensors unless your sensors have some sort of advanced...
We have advanced sensors.
Okay.
Reduce task difficulty by 1.
There you go. So now these would normally be difficulty 1, now be difficulty 0. So any successes you get from these next checks. So to scan the Angstrom research space, you need a reason plus science.
Okay. I got 11.
I have 17.
Wow.
I got
a 10.
15.
I had 15.
Okay.
So I do 2.
Roll a d20, and if they're both below 17, they're successes.
Does the ship help here?
Okay, so they both have.
Oh
to
yeah,
be-
you can roll with the ship as well.
One.
You can do 1. Yeah.
And you said sensors and then...
The ship doesn't have quite the same stats, but I guess you can just use the same 17 as the goal. Basically using the computer to assist.
Okay.
They both have to roll?
Oh,
I-
one of mine
I
is
rolled
20.
Ooh.
I forget, is it
Man,
using...
you really let us down.
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Is it using
It's
one
just not clear.
momentum to re-roll one?
Yeah, you can spend 1 momentum to re-roll a die.
Oh, should I re-roll it?
Yes.
We're gonna.
You
Okay.
should.
Yeah. Yes.
We're early on, we might as well.
Definitely.
Please,
don't
please,
wanna-
please. Okay, yeah,
Okay,
great.
good,
8 and 8.
All
Okay,
right.
so you got 2 successes
And
right
then-
there. You get your
So...
back.
That's what it did.
Okay, 18. So not a complication, but yeah.
Not a success.
The,
Okay.
the computer didn't get help. All right.
The basic scan reveals that there are life forms. The number varies between 24, 47, and 942.
That didn't sound right.
It also reveals that main power is down, but the solar shields are still engaged at maximum, which prevents transporter use.
That makes sense.
In addition, the base has minimal life support, and everything appears to be functioning off battery power.
Ah, hence the shuttle pod. Shuttle bay.
Yes.
Hence me being the pilot.
Control plus engineering for a damage report.
Control plus engineering.
I have a 14 on that.
I have a 14 as well.
Did they say presence?
I have a 9.
Control.
Control, sorry.
I got
Control and
12.
engineering.
9. I got 14.
Okay, whoever has the highest, roll for it.
I think a whole bunch of people had 14.
We 3 had 14.
I just had a 9, so.
Okay, whoever.
Go, Dad,
Go,
go.
Mark.
I got
Go,
2.
Dad.
As long as you don't roll a 20, you're
You
good.
want the box? Rolling dice
So
box?
you go by hours.
Apparently not.
I'll use it.
6 and a
That's
16. You got 1, but not 2.
Yeah, I got
1 is fine. I mean,
Okay.
again, you
Oh,
have
okay.
better sensors, so you still get another point of.
Okay. I feel better.
Every time I see difficulty of 0, it's like as long as you get a success, not only do you get a point of momentum, but you succeed the task. So,
I believe you.
yeah.
Okay.
Don't worry, we'll use these up. What's the
Besides,
maximum
your
number?
X-ray joke was really pitiful. My Cardassian was probably better. I'm just saying.
That wasn't on camera, so.
The audience
Yeah.
missed it.
You have me have to repeat it.
So
Yeah.
the base has taken extensive damage internally and externally, and that one of the tram lines between the 2 parts of the base has taken the hardest damage. There's a fire contained in the tram line, and emergency bulkheads will hold for no more than 24 hours. If you want to spend a momentum to find out why,
Yes.
Sure.
the damage was caused from the inside, possibly through the use of a mining charge.
A mining charge?
Like someone set it off in the
Explosive.
tram line.
Oh.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But it was intended for mining purposes, but
Yeah.
So there's someone evil on board.
Yeah, we got a traitor.
Possible.
or there's some threat that they had to block off the shaft for some reason. I don't know. I haven't read any of this, so.
No. Okay, so as far as the brown dwarf, it would be reason plus science to find out what's going on with that. Difficulty of 2. So you have to get at least 2
Science.
successes in order to
My
make
Yeah.
reason plus science, mine's the 17.
10.
Yeah.
Mine's the.
Okay.
You're the
So-
science officer.
so I
so I
do-
can
Science
help.
officer.
You
figure
know.
it out, yeah.
So I do 2.
Yes.
Again, is the ship helping at all?
The ship can help at all. Yeah, the ship can help too. Just-
Sensors
Oh, yeah.
and
Oh,
science?
yeah.
So 14.
Okay, so I got 20 again.
Oh! It really
Use
got
the momentum to reroll that 20.
Spend a momentum to reroll that 20.
Okay, good.
Okay, good,
All right,
good.
we're
Okay,
Okay.
so 2
And the
successes
ship
right there.
sensors helping. Yes, successfully helped. 14, 12, yes.
Alright, you get that momentum back.
Huzzah. There we go.
Alright.
I am helping.
Success reveals the star is steadily gaining temperature, increasing its convection currents, and the surface is going to destabilize.
Oh dear.
It will increase over the next 12 hours, at which point it will start throwing stellar mass into the system, which will be very dangerous to any ship in the vicinity. So maximum 12 hours
12 hours.
before everything in the system is pretty much wiped out.
It's very clear.
So, as you can tell, with the shields up at maximum, you'll have to take a shuttlecraft. And the shuttle bay is already open, and one shuttlecraft is missing.
From our ship already?
From theirs,
Okay.
from the base. The shuttle bay is open, and it appears that one of their shuttlecraft is missing.
So then somebody already escaped from there, though.
Somebody already escaped.
Somebody
Yeah.
left. Okay.
hmm
Same person that did the mining thing?
We
Potentially.
don't know. Well, maybe.
All right.
Okay.
So it's going to be a control plus con with a difficulty of 3 to pilot the craft.
Control plus-
He's the pilot.
I got 15 on that.
I got 13.
I got 13.
I got 9.
All right, let me see.
You're a loser.
I got 4.
Wait until somebody gets hurt, I think.
That's right.
Yeah, that's true. Injury.
So don't make fun of her.
That's right.
You have to bring someone back to life.
Right.
Okay. Yeah, I'm not going to need. I hope I don't need to re-roll any of these. So.
Mhm.
I'm gonna roll.
Oh, you need to roll both of them. Spend 2 momentum.
Did you get 2
Well,
20s?
I got a 20 and a 19, so that's still a failure
I mean,
there.
either you can do that because it's success at cost. This kind of thing you have to do. You end up crashing the.
No. I'm better in this. I really am better in this.
No.
Where were you when I played Dungeons and Dragons?
Yes, in Dungeons and Dragons, those would be very good rolls.
Exactly.
This is not good.
Yes. No.
But the idea is you can let the shuttle be disabled and then repair it later in order to leave.
Well, okay. I also had the opportunity bold con.
Mhm.
I can buy d20s by adding threat, and I can also re-roll d20.
Yeah. You want to buy threat? Because I start out with 2 threat tokens per player already. So
Per player. Okay. Yeah.
yes.
Basically, that's the dangers that could await us. Yes.
Mhm.
Well, it's
I'll spend 2 threat, and just say your shuttle is you landed. You all survived. You're all
Okay.
uninjured, but the shuttle is inoperable.
okay.
Oh,
We're going to repair the
good.
shuttle.
In order to leave, you're basically trapped on the base.
Okay.
I'm sorry, guys.
It's like the Death Star. Inoperable. It's not operable.
Yes. There are
It's always-
rules.
it's
There
happens
are.
to me.
There's a role in here which you can figure out later, but at this point there are tools you can use on the base, but since the main power and computer are down, you're gonna have to do that first. In
Get
order
power
to
back up.
yeah. Once you've landed, it's clear that it's been fighting in the shuttle bay. There's a dead ensign with a phaser burn to his face lying near the door.
With a red shirt.
Yes. Control plus
Are
medicine
you sure
task.
he's dead?
Control plus medicine to
Control
find
plus
out.
medicine. There you go.
Oh,
That's
hey.
fine.
Oh,
That's
okay.
fine.
Doctor, yes.
Okay,
Yeah,
well,
you wanted
I've
the
got
box?
13. I assume I got the highest
11.
one.
Difficulty of 1. So you must get at least 1 success.
Okay.
Preferably more to get you some momentum back.
Right. So low.
12 and a 14.
So what was your
Those was
Total.
13.
13? So you got
Yes.
1 success, so you match.
Okay.
You don't get anything extra. But
Okay.
although this ensign died from a phaser set to kill, there was something else seriously wrong with him.
Oh, well, we
I'm
have
gonna
to
spend
find
a
that out.
momentum to find out.
Oh.
Yeah, that's kind of the thing how this game works is that it expects you to earn momentum,
And
And
you
then-
gotta spend
at
it.
least spend 1 in order to find out that he has a puncture wound on his back. His nervous system looks like it's been all but destroyed. So it wasn't just the phaser fire set to kill that killed him.
I've got 2 19s.
Okay, so
You're just really bad at your job.
It really isn't clear.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
The
that's
dice
not
like to
good.
roll the opposite way. If this were D&D, they would be all ones.
Use your
Just to
left
mess with
hand.
you, yes.
This is your left hand, baby? Okay, so it was 2 19s, so that's not helpful.
It's not clear.
it's got emojis instead of.
Oh.
Beautiful.
Yeah. It was at Half Price Books has their big clearance store sale at the Hair Arena.
Mm-hmm.
Well, not Hair Arena, but the Nutter Center.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's one.
It was at like 50 cents. And I was like, you know what?
Wow.
Nice.
Even though it's emojis, it's 50 cents. Whatever.
Right.
I want to see it.
It's clear.
It's clear?
Now it's clear. Okay.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Gotta ask a question.
Ask something about that jet incident.
Right. Yeah.
What was the face the engine was making?
You're right.
You can't tell because it was just a phaser burn to his face. It's just charred.
Oh, to his face. Oh, that's even worse.
Yeah, yeah.
With him in closed casket. You're over there.
Yeah.
Okay.
So, since main power and the main computer are down, there's a base diagram posted next to the door leading out of the shuttle bay. The floor contains mostly storage space, has access to Jeffries tubes that connect the floors of the base. The second floor contains the mess hall, crew quarters, and medical, while the third floor contains main operations. The third floor also connects to engineering, transit, and life support, all of which are currently sealed off by emergency bulkheads. So right now you only have access to the second floor.
Oh yeah, what are the Cardassians doing right now then?
They are just patrolling further. They haven't actually
I
approached.
think one of them just had a baby.
Now it's
Sorry.
on camera. Thank you. You got your wish. All right.
It's all about that base. About that base. No
All right.
trouble.
Okay.
No trouble.
No trouble.
Let's do an insight and security on the storage. Insight and security, difficulty 0.
Security.
Oh.
I only got 11.
12.
I got 9.
Inside
I have 11.
and security. Oh, I have 13.
Oh, wow.
Okay,
All right.
roll it.
Okay.
Okay.
Do it.
Oh,
Stay
no.
out of the box. Just throw it right in here. That box isn't helping you much.
No, it's not.
You got a 9 and a 17.
Okay, well,
One
that's
is
still
good.
one momentum anyways.
That's
Okay.
not
Yeah.
one.
Yes.
Okay.
That's all you needed.
All right.
Many of their main supply crates, all of which are filled with scientific instruments and basic supplies, have been rummaged through without care. Particular note, there is a security crate that was forced open. It contained 8 hand phasers, of which all but 1 is missing.
Mm.
Dun, dun, dun.
7. Somebody's.
Yeah.
So if anybody
Okay.
wants to take a Type 1 hand
6 and
phaser,
somebody took 2.
although I'm pretty sure everyone already has
Yeah,
something like
that's
that.
all standard equipment there. Yeah. That's the only one who wants to be dual wielding.
Right,
This
yeah.
is our phaser.
That's a Type
That's
1.
Type 1. Actually, you should be having the Type 2 phaser because you're the security officer.
I should.
Yes.
Okay.
Is where
I'll let
do
you
I
have
have one? Is this one? What is this?
What is this? It's like
That's a
That's tricorder,
It's a
yeah.
tricorder.
Actually, it's
What's
one of
it-
the
what's
mini
it tri-
sets.
Oh, is this it?
So this and that actually, unlike that tricorder, that one actually opens up to have like a tiny little sick bay inside.
The medical tricorder.
So it's a micro machine kind of playset thing.
Is this the science tricorder?
Like how
Yeah.
do you open it?
There's a tab that's supposed to just
Like here?
You can-
yeah.
You can push the tab sideways, maybe. Is that? Or is that?
Well, that one's a
No,
little
that's-
different.
That
That's,
doesn't matter. Okay.
that actually
Hers
that's
is
actually
different,
just a
yeah.
power switch, so you can actually
Yeah.
if it has batteries in it, it'll actually make noises
Right.
and stuff.
yeah, a little-
I think you
a
need
little
to
map.
pull out the little pod there first. Yeah, pull out that,
Oh.
and then it will pop open as long as you don't drop it. That should pop open, then pop to the side. and then
Oh,
it'll
wow.
get a
isn't that
little
cute?
sick bay
Oh,
playset
you got one of
thing.
the little guys in there, too.
Yeah.
Oh. It's kind of like a Polly Pocket for Star Trek.
Yeah, that's those are the toys we grew up with. So
Oh,
yeah,
really?
yeah.
Okay.
And now
I
there's
didn't
a
know they
piece
made them for
missing,
Star
so-
Trek.
Oh yeah,
That's
they
really
have
super
ones
cute.
for this one's a
Oh,
Romulan Warbird has a little Warbird thing
Oh.
inside of it,
Oh.
and each of these actually
It's
have
right
little
between your feet.
Enterprise setup.
This
You can
one's
open up.
transporter bay.
Ooh, that's so cool.
Yeah.
I didn't realize
Oh,
that
yeah.
these were like that.
I mean, most of the stuff isn't really much collectible anymore, especially since we opened it and played with it and
Yeah.
lost many of
These
the
guys
little.
had a wonderful.
Oh, it still could be. I mean, you go to antique stores, you see toys
Check
all the
that
time.
out.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Aw.
Yeah.
Oh, that
pod.
is cute. See? It's like
The
that.
medical pod.
Ooh, that's so
Mhm.
cool. Oh, he's laying in the bed.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Aw, I love it.
Oh, we did not know that.
Well, maybe we should take one of these phasers anyways, just so that
Somebody
somebody doesn't.
still on board. They don't find a weapon and shoot you with it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good idea.
Reach
That's
for other
probably
weapons.
really good. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So grab the remaining.
Grab the remaining
Phaser. How do we do that?
It's just it's an
We
action
just did
to
it.
take. You just did.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Say it, you do it. Yeah.
You say it, you do it. Ooh.
Crew quarters. Most of the scientific crew have quarters on the second floor of the facility, with the only exception being the department heads and support leads who have larger rooms on the third floor. You see 14 dead scientists in this part of the base. 8 of them look like they were killed in their sleep by phaser blasts at point-blank range. The other 6 bodies are located around a barricade near the mess hall. 2 outside were killed by phaser fire and bear wounds on their neck and back similar to the crewmen in the shuttle bay, with the same internal trauma. The other 4 are on the inside of the barricade and appear to have died from blunt wounds to the head and to the body. A control plus medicine task.
Okay,
Plus
control plus
medicine.
medicine. Okay, I got 13.
Difficulty is 0. So you gotta get some more momentum in here, because
Yeah.
Right there.
Right there, you think the
Throw it in
slickest
there.
spot?
Throw it in there.
It's the lucky door. 9 and 12.
okay, 2 successes.
You got 2 successes.
Alright.
Momentum.
Okay, we got batteries in this thing. and
Yeah.
It doesn't work.
Yeah, I bought that from GameSwap.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it was not working properly when we got it. So the other ones do work though.
Yeah.
Well, one of them has a bunch of corrosion that we took the batteries out and just didn't put
So
any
do
more
they
back
make
in.
sound? Or...
Yeah.
Yeah, when you push on this.
Press the lower button.
Oh,
Oh, okay.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought mine would just go.
I mean, except for that
They
one,
had that
these
joke
are
in one of
all
the,
other ones that we grew up with. And we
bloopers.
just held on
Did
to.
it really?
Yeah. The original bloopers, yeah.
I think like a Star Trek character.
Mhm.
Or at least an actor, yeah.
Yeah. So, control medicine, you got your 2 successes. Okay.
excellent.
The fight happened about 6 days ago.
Mm. Ooh, so these people have been dead for 6 days?
Yes.
Ew.
It smelled
How
great.
did we not notice that?
Maybe they're in a controlled environment.
Probably temperature controlled and all
Yeah.
kinds of things.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
It better
It's
be
really
with the
cool.
sun blasting all that stuff out.
Mhm.
It might be melted into the floor.
Insight plus reason, difficulty of 1.
Not me, I got 10.
Plus
Ooh,
reason.
insight plus reason?
Wait,
Yes.
insight reason? Those are
Insight.
both ability attributes.
Yeah.
Sometimes that's the way it's written in the book, and just
Insight and reason.
Really?
I got 19.
Oh, I got
Yeah,
20.
we all have
got-
19. We have a huge
I got
number.
yeah,
21.
yes. Well,
I got 22.
Whoa.
let me think of a different.
Think about
one,
something
okay?
else, yeah.
Insight
22.
and just
Oh, really?
Oh.
insight and insight and security.
Inside security.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, that changes everything.
Naturally.
I got
Again,
9.
misprints and things when you look through the book, and it's like, wait a minute, that doesn't even follow your own rules. What are you
Right.
doing?
I got a 12.
I got a 9.
I got a 13.
I got a rock.
Okay, I think whoever said 13, I think was the
That's
highest.
me.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
Come on,
Magic
go.
spot.
Got a
One.
1 and
One.
15.
Okay. That's
So it's 2 successes.
you get 1 momentum then.
It was difficulty 1.
Difficulty 1. Yes.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. The fight was between those with the mysterious wounds and those without them. But the unwounded were overrun and killed.
The unwounded?
Yes,
Were overrun.
the ones without the puncture wounds were overrun and killed.
Overrun.
Well, that's
So-
odd.
People with puncture wounds were somehow manipulated, somehow
Oh,
changed.
okay.
Mm.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Like the whole brain cell.
Yeah. Yeah.
Beyond the barricade is a mess hall where the uninfected scientists who were off duty when the trouble started made their last stand. The room itself is in total disarray with tables and benches knocked over and tossed aside to create a hazy cover. An odd squelching noise can be heard from inside this room. When the characters enter, in the flickering light you can see an Andorian writhing in the shadows. A flat, irregular disc detaches from his back and flees through a ventilation shaft just as the scientist, driven mad by pain, charges with a crude club. So in order to deal with him, this is going to be the first battle. Whoever has
Yes.
control plus security with a difficulty of 2 to fire phaser at stun.
Plus
Okay.
security.
I
I have
have
a 15.
I have 10.
Yeah.
I have 11.
So it's probably-
Security officer probably.
Yeah, you
How
demand.
did you do it?
All right.
You got a 15.
You of proper phaser sound.
There's a 15 and a 15.
Okay.
And that's
So
what I got.
that's 2
Hey.
No, it's a
successes.
5.
5.
It looked like it was on 15 a second ago.
Well, that's because
It's on the edge, yeah.
Okay, 15 and 5.
All right.
Well, also,
Um,
what's your security is 5, right?
My security's 5.
Okay, and you have,
And 10 on the control.
I think you have hand phasers as one of your focuses.
I do.
Mhm.
Used to be the
So that was kind of
sweet
2 successes there, so
Yes.
it's total 3.
So you get another momentum.
Try add those up.
Yes.
Okay.
Oh, we're getting a lot of momentum.
Stunned them.
Yes,
And
it
yeah,
can be
it's, you know-
spent very quickly though.
Oh,
yeah,
yeah.
it sure can.
Especially if you keep rolling 19s and 20s on the side.
Right.
All right, so the damage of that, so that's a phaser type 2.
Yes.
Okay, so that's going to be 3d6. So your d6s plus your security rating. as
I already
D.
have the number written over there. So,
So yeah, the total.
beside the Star Trek
Where's this
symbol.
at? Like,
So, yeah, that one.
Yep,
The-
8. So you roll 8.
8.
You roll 8 d6s.
That's why I
You're
gave
gonna need
that.
more than
I gotta roll 8 d6s.
Yep.
You
I
got
got them all
6.
here. I got 8.
No, yeah.
Okay.
I gave everybody 8 dice because I knew that was going to be the maximum.
Mhm.
Okay. What am I looking for here?
Ones,
try.
2s, 5s, and 6s. So 3s and 4s don't do anything, but
Ones. I got
ones
lots of
ones are
ones.
1 damage. 2s are 2 damage. 5s and 6s are 1 damage with an effect.
Oh,
So your
okay.
phaser has the effect depending on which one you choose for accurate or charge.
Yeah.
If you do charge, you do 2 damage instead of 1 with those.
So, probably charge then? Cause
Probably charge. Yeah, you're charging your
Yeah,
attack.
I'm
Yeah.
charging you. Okay.
So. Yeah, it's enough damage to knock him out. He's unconscious.
Got it.
And to knock us out would be the number of stress. I already have check marks to block off what you can't use. So then you would check off the top ones then. Of how much, that's how many hit points you have basically.
And you see, if
Okay.
you don't knock him out in the first shot, it's back and forth with those same kind of rules.
Mm.
And you can tell when that would get kind of annoying.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
knock him out the first time,
If at all
That
possible.
helps.
if at all possible. And if you shoot with a lethal, that adds more threat.
Mm.
So they can escalate in terms of using more powerful weapons because you are intending to kill them rather than stun them.
Gotcha.
Because the Starfleet way is to knock things out.
Well, yeah. All right, so we got this guy
Yep.
stunned, right? Or knocked out.
Yes. Reason plus medicine. Difficulty of 1.
Doctor?
Reason plus medicine, so that's probably gonna be me.
Mhm.
16.
Wow.
Yeah.
12.
Okay.
17.
One of
You
the
got
two.
1 success, and that's
Yeah.
all you needed. So, even though he is unconscious, the pain centers of his brain are very active. Spending 1 momentum gets you more information.
Yeah.
Count in the bank. Why not?
Detects foreign cells located all throughout his nervous system, especially clustered around a puncture wound on the back of his neck. There's a slimy residue there as well. Spending another momentum.
I love how we just decide we're gonna do that.
It's just written in the book that you get that amount
You're probably
of
going
information.
to.
If you want more information, spend more.
Do we want more information?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
We've decided.
The nervous system is starting to degrade,
Ew.
and that cells themselves are starting to form a cyst around the wound site. The cyst appears to be made up entirely from nervous system cells that are undergoing some sort of metamorphosis.
Ew, gross.
Wow.
So he's
creating
He is
another-
mutating. Yeah, there's a cyst on the back of his neck
Right.
that's mutating.
Hey, chop his head off.
Yeah, just stop the process.
Are you kidding? I mean, he could be growing into a creature that's going to cause us all kinds of trouble.
Oh, I didn't think of that.
Of course you didn't.
Okay,
If you can-
why
she's
I'm
the
here.
medical lady.
I
She
was
wants to
thinking
take
it was
care of
gonna be
everyone.
something good.
If
not
you can
something
carry him to
bad.
the medical bay, you
Okay.
can further examine and try to deal with this thing.
That's
It's
Well,
awesome.
we're not-
also on this
We're
floor.
not flying anything right now, so I guess I'll carry him.
Okay.
What a guy.
Yeah,
What floor was the medical?
it's on the same floor.
Okay,
So-
good. Thank you. I don't want to go upstairs with this thing.
Located at the end of the floor, the medical bay is modest but functional. In the center of the room is a tall specimen jar that contains what appears to be a gigantic flesh-colored cell.
I think this is what you're talking
It's
about before.
Operation
Yeah.
Annihilate. Yeah.
Yes, reason plus science with difficulty of 2.
Reason plus
Cells that
science.
come
out.
I've
Oh, I
got
thought-
15. What do you have?
Isn't those things
17.
that were on the ceilings
so
and they
that
jump
might
on
be
people?
Julie's.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I know what we're. Man, those things are hard to shoot.
Hard to kill.
Yeah.
Please.
I had to hit him with light instead.
Okay, 12 and
16.
16.
So 2
So
successes.
yeah, so
2
we're good.
successes, you match. This is a Denevian neural parasite.
That's not good.
Those Denevians.
Apparently, it was
They
the only
make
one
a
that managed
present,
the
man.
security staff managed to kill before they overran the base. Unfortunately for the staff, they had no way to identify the creature, as their database contains no information on this creature.
So wait, where
Didn't
did we
they
find
watch
this?
the series?
They
Have
Apparently-
you guys seen this episode?
Yeah, you have. I'm sure
I
you
have. I
have.
don't.
It's on the original
It's
series.
an original.
and they're walking around, and these things attach themselves to like the ceiling or the walls or
Hide in the
the
dark.
backside, and then when you walk through, they
kind of look like
Getcha.
fake vomit.
Ew.
yeah, but they're really flat.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, really, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're kind of a combination of bats and puke.
Yeah.
Mhm.
I don't know if I remember that episode.
Yeah, it was pretty tacky, but that was original Star Trek.
You
so-
could see the
was.
strings.
It was
Yeah,
a disappointing episode. I thought.
yeah.
So this is from
I
the
liked
original.
it.
you think?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay.
You would. I think there's one on your head right now.
Okay.
That's just his head.
Brain eater.
So yeah, you can determine that this is a gigantic neural cell spending momentum.
Oh, more
another
momentum
momentum.
span.
Yes. Find
It
out
takes
that
a lot to learn things.
although it is dead, parts of it seem to be alive, responding to stimuli from another source, likely through some sort of connection to others of its kind.
Wait, where did we find this?
Isn't
thing?
there a
It's in the
good-
medical bay. It's secured in a tube.
It's just we just found it in a tube.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So they were studying it because they didn't know what it was. But you going through your Starfleet security and medical records are like, yeah, that's the thing.
Okay.
How did they not know?
Although you currently can't do anything to it at this point because there's no power in this room. So it's like emergency power, dim lights. If you're able to restore power to the engines and to main computer, you can actually do more research and study on what was going on here.
Does your book stay with the series on TV?
Because he
I mean,
already knows what's
accuracy?
gonna happen.
As far as the writers made it, because a lot of the writers are supposed to be fans, but then they contradict things that happened in the series. So it's kind of like, eh,
It loosely matches.
loosely.
That's what he's saying.
They match where they want to match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The idea of
That's
these
right.
missions are supposed to be designed so that even if you haven't seen the episodes, you could figure out what to do.
But if you have seen the episode, well, I've already seen it's a rerun.
Yeah,
Different setting, same monster. Yeah.
pretty much.
Okay.
All right, we're
So
gonna need some
D&D has
welding
a series?
masks.
D&D has a series and a show.
D&D did have a cartoon back in the mid '80s.
Okay.
Yeah, but
It was lame.
yeah.
Okay.
In addition to this creature, since it's not just this creature in the medical bay, there are 3 bodies here. One is Mr. Muroki, a maintenance operator, who has a terrible wound on his back, and 2 other members of his operations staff, both of whom were apparently killed by asphyxiation. There's a pad with the bodies that includes an open report saying that Mr. Muroki and the others were outside the base performing maintenance on an intake that became closed with biological matter. Muroki was injured during the work and somehow turned a laser drill on the other 2, breaching their suits. So a terrible accident trying to clean out.
Mr.
Obviously, one of these
Rocky.
creatures got into their intake valves. Not Mr. Muroki, not Mr. Miyagi.
Okay.
Apparently, there's only so many Asian names in
In Star Trek.
pop culture. Yeah.
Must be.
Can't call everybody Sulu. You know?
All right.
All right, so what do we do?
What's next?
As you try to look around, one of the bodies gets up and lunges at you like the other guy. So, attack!
Okay.
My attack time.
Control and security. Difficulty of 2.
Control and security.
And if you want to make sure it happens, you can spend a momentum to get another die.
It's 15.
Mm.
Do you want to spend 1 to get 3 shots at it? 15. I think.
Here we go.
I'll just say
That was
I did-
one.
I roll on purpose.
Yeah, there we go.
17 and 5. Okay, so one of them's a hit.
Yeah. That is not enough.
Wait, the 5 though.
5 though.
Again,
is-
you have hand
matches,
measures,
so
and
that
that
would be
matches your
2.
security, so that's 2 sets of this.
Okay.
Okay.
That
so
would
then-
match.
with
So
the
you just
focus.
get enough. Now roll the damage. Roll
yes.
those
Okay.
d6s then.
All right.
Roll.
So what's the low, lows? Low.
Preferably
Oh, way
two.
to go.
Yes.
Yeah.
There's 1s and 2
Wow.
and another 5, 6.
All right. That
Which
again
one
is
to
enough
charge,
to charge
That's
shot
it.
to knock him out.
All right, so we knocked another one out.
You always have them set for maximum
Well,
power.
well fired.
All right.
Bam, 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 bam. Down.
I think that's the reason like why your character like joined Starfleet was because it's like, yeah, okay, you're on good missions, but you end up always getting in combat. So I want in on
Yeah.
that business.
There you go.
I actually did write a
Kron's on
background
top
story
of all
for
this.
each one. It's very tiny print down there, but
Oh, I see.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yours actually. Oh, it's all. It's
Conflict
mostly cut
with
off there.
Hostile creature
Okay,
culture. New battle strategy. There you go.
It just adds flavor to the back end of your character, and like the reason why the stats are the way they are, pretty much.
Yeah. Okay, so
All right.
now what happens?
Well, each of these are divided into 3 acts. So this is Act 2.
Bless you.
That's why I said Act 2. There you go. Restoring order. Captain's log supplemental. The base is in chaos. The dead litter the halls, and roaming bands of crazed crew are clearly responsible. A madness has taken a hold of Angstrom Research Base, caused by an unknown pathogen. Yes, because that's the problem. They write it so that you're, oh, I don't know what this is. And you're like, I know Star Trek, I know what this is.
There's a previous one where like people were like trying to mine for rocks. Like, oh, we have to find the shepherd. Was it? I think it was
Yeah,
called?
that's something
And
you're worshipping the rocks.
Within like 10 minutes of it, we knew, oh, okay, they're just sentient rocks. They're just trying to telepathically communicate.
But it
with
took
people.
another act before the characters are supposed to figure that out. It's like,
Yeah.
you gotta think of what your base.
Not all these guys are as bright as you two.
These are supposed to be Star Trek fans who are writing it. They're supposed to be people who know how
And
the
they're
series
not as bright
works.
as you two.
Or our characters aren't supposed to be that bright.
Unless we can restore power, there's little chance of getting the situation under control.
Power to the base.
Yes.
I'll use the engineer.
Stop.
Yeah.
I'm
Use the
sorry.
engineer, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm the engineer.
He's the candy eating engineer.
Yes.
All right.
The donut eating engineer.
So what do I need?
So at this point, you're making your way towards operations on the 3rd floor. You're able to find a Jeffries tube that's at least available to some section, not the.
Should I? Okay, we're leaving the Andorian that we found in the medical bay then?
Yeah, he's just unconscious. Apparently, you interrupted the process of the creature who was trying
Okay.
to infect him, and then this creature just scuttled off into another duct.
Are there restraints on the medical bay on the beds?
So we need to lock down the medical.
You need to restore power in order to get those lockdown efforts working. Otherwise,
There are basic straps.
Yeah, how about some rope?
yeah, there are basic straps on there too
Okay.
that work without the need for power. But if you want to actually lock doors or have other access to computer features, you need to get power.
All right. I'll try to tie it around him so that if he's just going crazy, he won't be able to untie himself. But if he like, okay, if he has his mindset about him, he can figure out how to untie him.
Yeah, there you go.
We don't want to trap him down there alone. But if he continues to be a threat,
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I
Sounds
see.
good.
you want to still go off his head? I mean, all of you, I think, outrank me anyway. So I'm Lieutenant Junior grade.
Oh.
Aha.
No, it's better than a triple.
Yeah, she's ensign.
I'm the lieutenant commander.
You know what? Maybe I have him with me just in case.
You throw the triple at some of these crazy guys and say, triple!
Well, no, in case my character dies, I can just go to the triple then.
Oh.
No.
All right. So next.
Operations is a large room with a view of the crater dominating one wall of the room. The room itself is a nightmare. There are 2 dead bodies, a lot of damage from phaser fire, and very little appears to be operational. One of the operations officers is sprawled over a console in a pool of dry blood. Another is severely burned by phaser fire near the window. The window itself looks like it's not entirely stable as it took numerous phaser hits. Looking at the body on the console reveals the cause of the death to be a slice through her abdomen caused by a large bladed weapon. She shows no other wounds and she has a phaser in her hand. The burned officer is impossible to identify, having taken a phaser blast to the face. Insight plus medicine, difficulty of 2.
Ooh.
That's good.
Doctor?
Insight plus medicine, I got 16.
All right.
2 and a 3.
All
Oh.
right.
Now wait a minute.
Yeah.
What are your focuses again?
What's your focus?
You're on the right side there.
Right.
Genetics.
Right.
Oh, genetics,
That's it?
No.
No.
Well,
No.
finances, infectious disease,
Xenobiology.
surgery, emergency medicine.
would any of these go under what she just researched?
Emergency medicine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now would be 4 successes then?
No,
So you
I
get
got 14.
Thank you. Momentum back up.
Wow,
Yeah.
Well, we got
nice.
somebody that's knows what's going on here.
All right.
Good work, man.
I wrote all these characters.
Yes.
You optimize things.
The phaser blast started out as stun hits, but increased in severity, and any one of them should have been incapacitated,
But it didn't.
but it didn't. He also has a puncture wound on his shoulder and a severely damaged nervous system. So it's not on his neck, his shoulder.
Old man's in chat.
Oh man. Hello, old man.
Our father.
Hello.
Hello. He said just a quick look.
Okay.
Just stay watching. We don't care if you're actually watching or not. Just keep the window open,
walk
please.
away, but just
Yeah.
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 Okay.
All right.
All right.
Hi,
So,
Dad.
although main power is down, there is still emergency power to the terminals of these rooms. The terminals report that the main computer is offline. They still report the status of the base's main reactor, which is approaching critical. Insight plus engineering. Difficulty of 3.
I got 13.
Yeah, I
I
got
got
13
12.
as well. 12. Okay, so it's one of us too, I think. Everybody said stuff less than 13, right?
Yeah.
Mhm.
I'll do it.
All right.
Please. Okay.
Ooh.
Ooh, yeah.
4 or 6.
Yep.
And so let's see. What was it? What was she trying to do it for again?
What?
I'm reading her focuses. What was the?
To figure out about the base's main reactor.
We have reverse engineering or computers or physics.
It's computers.
Computers, yeah.
Computer. Okay, so then 4 would be a double. So
Okay.
3 successes.
Okay, just got enough. Terminal states the main power failed after the primary research holding tank failed, causing an environmental breach in engineering. Protocol shut down the reactor and put the base on backup batteries. This occurred 3 days ago. Spending momentum.
Did she get momentum for what she did?
No, you matched.
She just got enough.
She just got enough. Yeah.
Bummer.
It's very difficult to do without full power to figure out what was going on.
We like
or
doing
lots of
momentums.
momentum.
Yeah.
Yes. The research tank ruptured due to it being overpressured, listing the supply source as stellar inversion drive.
Inversion drive.
Stellar inversion. Can I do a check on that to figure out what stellar inversion drive is? 'Cause
Um,
that sounds like a propulsion.
Yeah, and I'm supposed to be the guy for that. I think.
Yeah, you're the engineer.
Either of us. I mean,
Oh, okay. All
I
right.
fly the thing and you fix it.
inside
so-
engineering, difficulty of 3.
Okay, that's
Insight
13 for me.
And engineering.
That's what we just
I've
did.
got 12. She's got 13.
Really?
I've got
Yeah.
12.
Yeah, I also have 13. I'll try it this
That's
time.
how I did
Okay.
that one.
A 4 and 11.
All right.
So yeah, that's 2 successes there. Or wait a minute, does this deal with sort of warp drives?
Yes.
Okay, so that would be 3 successes.
Research at the Angstrom Research Base centers on
Just
low-mass
enough.
stars and the gases they contain, some of which are relatively rare. Their goal was to find a way to harvest the gases, even if that comes at the cost of the star itself. Stellar inversion drive works by creating a disturbance in the star's photosphere, creating a fountain of gas, not unlike a controlled solar flare. The thought was the capture device could be created to harness these gases before they fall back into the star or dissipate. Unfortunately, the research never made it that far, although it is not part of the research. Starfleet is concerned this technology could be weaponized, used intentionally to destroy stars.
Oh. Star Destroyer?
Yeah. Wrong franchise, but yeah.
Star Wars. Yeah.
So you found that out. That's supposed to be at the end of chapter 3, but since you're like stellar inversion drive, what's that? Difficult check. We figured it out. Let's skip that part and just keep
Yeah.
moving right along. You also find there are operations logs. All entries are dated 7 days ago from Operations Commander Elora Welgan. They are all routine until about 10 days ago. A log mentions that a maintenance is needed on the exhaust manifolds due to some biological contamination from the surface. Odd, because the planetoid is lifeless. A log from several hours later reports that Mr. Miroki, who was assigned to the task, was involved in some sort of accident, which claimed the lives of 2 other operations staff, that he was taken to medical for emergency treatments for some sort of parasite. The log then notes that another crew is being assigned to complete the original maintenance work. The final log is panicked. It's stating it's all those scientists' fault. They've cut off comms. They are coming. The woman on the logs is dead. The dead woman draped over the console.
So basically their solution was keep throwing more bodies at it.
Yeah.
Okay.
They didn't understand what it was.
Well, who else wants to go?
If you wanted more detailed
It's your ship.
information,
Whatever.
Yeah, and they kind of turned them into zombies, don't they?
Mhm.
The little things get you.
They turn violently aggressive.
It might be a different breed, but yeah, basically.
Okay.
Do we
you
want
want
to
to
momentum?
control and security.
Got
Difficulty
12.
of 0.
That's him.
Security.
It's
15.
Control security. Let's get you some momentum back
11.
here.
15.
For 10.
Control security is for basically usually phaser fire, so that's why I built your character to
I
match
got like
that.
the
Yeah.
perfect character. And you're a little more powerful than I am, and he's a
5
little
and
more powerful
12.
than I am. So
Okay.
I give it second banana most of the
Oh,
time.
momentum.
And the delicious banana you are.
So, further information on
Slippery,
this
though.
timeline. 10 days ago, malfunction in the exhaust system resulted in 3 maintenance workers going out to clear what was being read as biological contaminant. Okay, the reports reprised hundreds of cell-like organisms crowding around the intake and exhaust manifolds. The report also notes that there was an accident with the laser drill. The third was injured by biological contaminant. Samples were brought inside. Some were collected in environmental systems. 9 days ago, Vital, chief of stellar research, asked to examine one of the creatures, curious about how it could survive in such a hostile environment. Surgery to remove the contaminant from the worker resulted in his demise. 8 days ago, reports of the cells infiltrating the base came from all decks. There was a recorded log of Vital accessing environmental control. The log of what he did inside the system was erased. All research logs from the Dayside base ends, and their work was put on hold. 7 days ago, panic took over the base with fights breaking out all over. Crew were kidnapped or beaten by others, taken to the Dayside facility. Commander Welgan sent operations personnel to a facility via the tram, but all were lost in an explosion that appeared to be deliberate. 6 days ago, order broke down. Adams sent the final message. Crew barricaded themselves from each other. Vital locked out communication and scrambled all the base's security codes. From this point onward, there are no further logs, only records of what happened to the base systems. 5 days ago, one of the base's shuttles departed with 2 on board. They flew into the Dranenko star and were destroyed. 3 days ago, the holding tank ruptured in engineering. Main power and computer was shut down. There are no further entries.
Are we still trying to get power back online?
Yes.
Oh, do ruptured tanks cause radiation of some sort in the engineering bay, or is that?
Well, you're not sure with the research that they were trying to collect solar flare radiation from a brown dwarf star, which, since that star in and of itself is falling apart, either it destroys them in the next 12 hours or something else destroys them sooner.
So 12 hours from when we got here. How many hours do we have now, would you say?
About 10.
Okay, so it's only been 2 hours. Okay. We move fast.
Yeah, right.
We're doing
All right, now 2 people that took off in the shuttle blasted into something and then just
They flew into the star. They
So even though they were trying to escape,
yeah,
they were already
infected.
affected.
Yeah, and they knew the best way
but
to
they
get rid.
didn't
Yeah,
know it.
yeah.
So you can be affected and not really know it, but it'll catch up to you,
Yeah.
like the flu.
I think it's a bit worse than the flu. I mean, doctor, when you say?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know. There's some pretty nasty flus out there right now.
Okay.
So at this point, you're near the officers' quarters. So you can see Commander Welgan, Researcher Amelia Adams, and Chief Researcher Vital. Which one do you want to see first?
Ooh. Wait, what are the options?
Commander Welgan, Researcher Amelia Adams, or Chief Researcher Vital?
I want to see the chief researcher.
The head of stellar research has quarters just outside operations, a beautiful view of the crater. For a Vulcan, Vital's quarters are incredibly chaotic, with furniture, research dossier, and sculpture tossed all about. In the center of the bed, stained by sweat, is a research tunic, the back of which has been torn off and stained with Vulcan blood. Scanning the bed with a control and medicine task.
Control and medicine task.
Yes.
Okay. 13.
18 and 17.
Oh.
No.
Wait, can I try it? Because I have 13 as well.
Sure, go ahead.
Oh.
No.
I have 13 and 19.
Okay.
So 1 success.
Well, that's
Yeah.
all you needed is 1 success.
Okay.
It appears that the strange foreign cells found in the bodies of the other dead, like she apparently tried to do surgery on herself to remove the parasite.
Ooh.
Okay.
That's kind of hurt.
Yeah.
And it's a Vulcan, and so Vulcans are affected too by the same
Yes.
thing.
Yes.
Even though they got Vulcan blood.
She might be able to resist it better, though, because of the...
Well, she had enough time to try and commit surgery on it.
Yeah.
There are personal encrypted logs. Insight plus engineering, difficulty of 2, will unlock them.
13.
I have 13 as well.
And 12.
Well. Go,
I
John,
know.
go.
Had I known insight would have been more important for you, I would have scored you better on that.
Okay.
So who's rolling?
Go, John, go.
Okay.
Good job.
10 and 14. Yeah. No real help there. Okay. So 1 success.
All right, we'll
Is
just
that
say
it?
that
Okay.
matched. Okay. The logs are orderly and regimented, made once per day, on almost exactly the same time every morning, but all that changed 10 days ago. There's a log from the evening on the day mentioning only, due to the accident, work on the drives has been halted for the day. I have requested a specimen so they might try to catalog this creature that seems so suited to this environment. Logs from the following day are erratic, first talking about the samples and the incident, while mentioning great pain in an attempt to maintain logic and focus. All of this is interspersed with Vulcan chants and bits of ritual that are easily identified by anyone who speaks Vulcan. Does anyone have Vulcan as a language?
You're welcome.
You're Vulcan. So you're able to understand.
Okay.
Okay. A log from 2 days later states only, they know, and they must be made one of us. The final log is from 4 days ago. It states, the pain is clarity. The clarity is purpose. I know what I must do.
So it sounds like she almost did this on purpose. Like she wanted to connect with this creature. Maybe?
Yeah.
You haven't
Definitely
found
intrigued
her
by it.
body. She may still be alive.
Or she may have driven the shuttle into oblivion.
Or from the way he said it, she's probably still alive.
Yeah, she probably is.
Yeah.
She's the one that locked out communications, scrambled all the base security codes. So, or he. Sorry, keep saying she because Vital sounds like a whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess so. Alright, so
Like to Paul from Enterprise.
Yeah,
BML.
yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
Similar.
In any case, Amelia Adams or Welkin.
let's go with Amelia Adams.
Quarters of this senior stellar researcher are a mess, as if a fight took place here. It's also a location where the last message from the base was sent. There's no sign of Adams in the room.
So
Yeah.
far we've established that everything's a mess.
Pretty much. Welkins, although there is no sign of struggle here, it is obvious that someone forced their way into this room and attempted to get into the security locker but failed to do so.
So we should try.
We should open the security locker.
Be reason plus engineering or security, difficulty of 2.
What is it?
Plus engineering.
Reason and engineering?
Or reason and security.
14.
I got
14.
I have
Reason and engineering, I got 17.
Ooh.
Oh,
Alright.
So there we go. That's where I about you.
Roll that.
There you go.
Look out. Action.
Roll that beautiful bean footage.
9 and 12.
Okay, you managed to open it.
All right.
Inside are 3 Type 2 phasers and a single Type 3 phaser rifle.
Ooh.
I get the rifle.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we really should give him that, right?
Okay, so the Type 3 phaser rifle would add an extra d6. So you'd have 9 instead of 8 when you rolled damage.
Okay.
Also,
Remember that.
Yeah.
We'll write it down.
I'll write it down.
also it's two-handed, so
You gotta have both hands to operate it.
Oh, you can't dual wheel phasers. Oh, well.
Would that
No.
be kind of like an other equipment?
yeah.
Well, it's on the
It's
left
still,
side
still
there.
left side phaser.
You
Lift.
still have, I think, there's a spot down here to.
Ah,
Yeah.
this thing.
You write
So,
down phaser type 3.
phaser
Instead of
type
rolling
3.
8 dice, you'd roll 9.
Gotcha.
So who else wants the other Type 2 phasers? I guess he also has an extra Type 2 phaser if he wants to share that.
Clearly, he wants to use type 3 now. It's like, I have the big weapon.
I'll take a type 2. Why not? Even though my security rating is like 2.
Probably not going
Yeah,
to be shooting anything.
same.
So, yeah.
Who else can shoot people?
I have
Only
good,
reason you got in the fleet, right?
I control security is 12. Your control security is 12.
Control and security.
It's only
10.
10, yeah.
Okay.
Mine's
So
11.
one of those two. Or both
you're
those
always
two
like a
should
point
have
ahead.
tasers.
All right, emergency bulkheads.
What kind of point are you trying to make there?
Emergency bulkheads
You
seal off all
already have
access
this.
points to engineering due to the stellar gas leak that has contaminated the chamber. So you can
Fantastic.
start the purification process with a fitness plus engineering, difficulty of 2.
Fitness.
Ooh.
plus
Yes.
Engineering. That's
12.
14.
14.
Ooh,
Oh,
nine.
lots of 14s.
I'll roll. I haven't got to roll very much.
Ooh. Ooh.
Ooh, 18 and 9.
Mm.
What's
only one success.
One success.
All right, the doors don't budge.
The doors don't
Oh,
budge.
well, can I try?
Yeah, blast.
So-
In
Several
any
of us
case, you
try.
might want to find some emergency suits before opening this contaminated area.
Oh.
Oh, there's a thought.
That's a good idea.
I did make that suggestion that there might be danger in there of radiation.
Okay, so how do we get suits?
All right, let's do a
Somehow he knew we needed them.
possibly.
Sure, I'm glad
The,
there's
the
somebody
door
guiding us
magically
on
didn't
that.
open when we didn't have
Yeah.
the suits on.
Yeah.
Well, it was fake.
That's true. That was good that didn't open.
Like,
we'll
try-
do,
wait a minute.
I rolled them that way on purpose.
Yeah.
I knew it was going to be dangerous.
Something I'm forgetting. Oh, my nose is burning. I'm fine. Okay.
Daring and medicine, difficulty of 2.
Daring and medicine.
Yeah,
You're basically
11.
trying to makeshift
I got 11.
I got 13.
protection suits.
Alright, so
You're trying to jury rig suits because you can't seem to find any.
11, 10.
Okay.
you got a 19 and a 20?
Yeah, whoa, that's
Well, let's use some
Sorry.
momentum to reroll the 20.
Yeah.
These
let's
suits
do
will be
that.
perfect to encourage, like, yeah, they're clearly like
No, no.
tattered.
We're using a momentum to reroll the 20.
Reroll.
We'll
Alright,
reroll
rerolling.
that. There you go.
9.
9.
Mm.
Can she reroll the 19?
Hey, one, what's the, where are your focuses? Well, it wouldn't help with the focus anyways, 'cause it's not low enough there.
You have to spend 2 more momentum to roll another one. It's 1 for the first one, 2 for the next. and-
How bad do
yeah.
we need these?
Pretty
We
bad.
made him pretty bad.
somebody
Everyone
else-
mentioned it.
You'll die of gas poisoning if you don't.
Okay, so we can use more momentums.
Can
Yeah.
somebody else try without us using more momentum? Or is
Someone
that
else
just
can
a bad
try.
plan?
Yeah.
I
maybe.
don't know if that's a
Yeah.
good plan or not.
Who's the closest to the same
What is it?
high roll?
Daring?
Daring and medicine.
Daring.
I have 10. I feel
11.
like that's
I
not.
got 11.
13.
I got 11.
Okay, you want me to
If
just
somebody
roll
else
again?
wants to
For the
try,
engineer.
Let's-
or just roll again from the
Should
start
I
and
just
see if
roll
you can.
again? Or do you want to?
We already spent, well, we haven't spent the things yet, right?
You spent 1 to reroll 1, and that didn't
One.
help you either. So
Well, she got 1 success.
1
She
success.
had
Yeah.
one success. So
Okay, well, let me roll and.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
'cause
You
it
still
won't
have to get
cost
the
him, right?
No.
Okay.
You can assist, I suppose. Yeah. Just see.
15 and 16.
No.
That won't work.
Okay.
Maybe we didn't need these.
Is there
as
some
much
way,
as we
maybe,
thought.
for us to find a control panel to vent out the radiation that's in that room?
You need to get the power on, which is
Uh,
stuck in the
Okay,
engineering.
what about he has ability? I think did I give you the under talents jury rig under the termination? Yeah,
I don't know
talents?
where I'm at.
on the
Oh,
left
talents.
side, talents. You have jury rig. What are the talents you have?
Jury rig with
There we go.
engineering task to repair, reduce difficulty by 2. Repair only lasts to the end of the scene, plus 1 scene.
Okay, so you can jury rig, roll again with the difficulty of 0,
yeah.
Okay.
So reroll.
and if you get any successes, they're not only momentum, but they'll get you a successful suit.
Yeah, there you go.
Okay.
We're jury rigging, baby.
Yeah.
I ain't got it that
A
time.
9 and a 7. I whooped them
Alright.
anyway. Should have rolled that first.
Mm-hmm.
Should have.
Yeah, you can't have everything.
You jury rig a suit that's only going to last for this. Fortunately, you only need it for 1 scene.
Oh, good.
Oh, there you go.
It's only
long-
1 suit though.
Yeah.
Okay, 1 suit.
We're
Oh,
all
so
gonna-
I gotta be
we're all gonna
staying there.
step
I'm gonna
out.
be rolling a lot here.
You're the engineering guy who's going to be fixing this, so yes.
Okay.
All of engineering is flooded with stellar gas collected from the Dran Anko star using the inversion drive located on the A-side base. The tank was never meant to hold a great deal of pressure, so when Vital turned the drive to maximum, the tank ruptured. Emergency cutoffs took over, but the damage has been done. Engineering is flooded with stellar gases, which caused the computer to go into shutdown and place the entire nightside base on battery. The moment the doors open, the gas begins to escape, which causes the bulkheads all around the base to slam shut, trapping you in engineering.
Okay.
Whoa. So he's trapped.
Yeah. And I
So-
got my
He's
suit
got
on,
a
right?
suit
Got a suit on.
Yes, you got a suit on.
So we need to
Don't
untrap it.
You're gonna fix it. We got
Seal the
plenty of
ruptured
momentum.
tank. Daring plus engineering difficulty of 3.
Daring.
Plus engine 9.
11.
I'm 15.
Ooh.
Well, again, he's
wait,
alone,
Wait, wait,
so-
but he can't
He's
do
gotta
it.
do it, right?
He's got to do it. He's the one with the suit on.
He's
Yeah.
the only one that's in there,
Oh.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
so he's the best one.
Ooh.
3 and 9.
9.
Nice.
Okay. Oh yeah, we'll give for the 3. What are your focuses again?
My focuses are botany, warp field dynamics, electroplasma power systems, transport replicators, history, and quantum mechanics.
You got it all covered.
Fancy.
Power system. I guess.
Yeah. I mean, that would be part of the power system.
Okay.
All right.
So it's double success with that one.
success,
So
you match.
okay.
You manage to seal the rupture tank. Now you need to prime the reactor. Control plus engineering, difficulty 2.
Control and engineering. Once again, I'm 14.
Good.
I'm also 14, so we're even then. Okay.
All right.
Okay.
Yeah, but I'm the one with a stupid suit on that barely holds.
In the room.
And I don't have a suit at all. So.
Ah!
15
and 18.
That's a bad
Okay.
one.
Spend a die to reroll one of those. Spend a momentum to reroll one of those.
He only needs one success.
A 2, actually.
I need 2 success.
Yeah.
Can I spend?
Maybe John needs to reroll.
I don't think he can.
Yeah, I'm not in the room with them.
It's
So.
not
Yeah.
I got to do it.
Okay.
So you reroll 1 with 1.
Okay, reroll one die.
Okay.
You might roll a 1.
Do the high one.
Yeah.
4. That's
Okay.
good.
Okay, and we already established. What was he
That's-
trying to do again?
Prime the reactor. So
Would that also be included with power supplies then?
yeah,
Okay, so that
You
would
match.
count as 2.
Oh, this counts as 2.
that counts as 2.
So it's included in one of your focuses.
Yeah,
Yeah.
your focus lets you do that.
Okay.
Yes.
All right.
Next, adjust environmental flow, which is going to be insight plus science or insight plus medicine, difficulty of 2.
Insight plus science is 10. Insight plus medicine is 8.
I have a 16.
It doesn't matter. You're not in there. So it's 10, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you got a 50-50 chance.
And I just throw 1, or I can throw 2.
You roll 2.
Yeah, yeah.
Do
Roll
2
both.
again.
You can spend a die to roll a 3rd,
If you want to do
or
that.
spend a momentum to roll a 3rd. Yeah.
Let's spend a momentum so you can do 3 dice.
Really think so?
That's also why I gave everybody 3 dice at least. So yeah.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
This is a shot.
Come on.
There
I
you
got
go.
a 6, a 6, and a 6.
All right.
All right.
666. I don't know.
That's
You got
kinda
everything
creepy.
winning.
You get one momentum
I
back.
have gone to the dark side.
Wrong franchise again, but yes.
Yes.
But yeah, we restored the
You got
momentum,
your
so it's
momentum
fine.
Right back.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's good.
Okay. Next is to distribute emergency breathers. Can be daring or presence plus command, difficulty of 0.
Daring and which ones?
Command
Daring or presence.
or presence.
And command.
Well, I got 10 for daring and 9 for presence, and
So you
command
wanna
is
do
1, so I got
daring,
11.
Yeah.
11.
Difficulty is 0 because you did the previous thing.
Okay, so I just throw the dice.
As long as you get a success.
4 and 14. So
Okay, you got a success.
I got it.
You managed to distribute emergency breathers, so now all of you are able to enter the room.
You can get in there and help.
not bad for
Okay,
this dark
so we're
guy.
all in there now.
You did good. You did good.
Now, bring the reactor online. Control plus engineering, difficulty of 3.
Control plus engineering.
14.
I got a 12.
I got a 14.
You're tired.
Yeah, one of you-
Yeah.
If one of you wants to assist him, you can roll 1 die with your own stats of that to assist.
Okay.
Whoever's
So
next
the-
best.
Do one of those. They're both 14s. They're all
So-
3
Okay.
14s.
Yeah, so you can, one of you,
1 do 1 die.
And roll
I'll
one
do
die, and
2
you
dice.
can do
John's
2
doing the 2 dice.
I have 5 and a 6.
okay?
Ah, very good. Does
And then is
anybody
Dan-
else
Do we
need
need
to
any
roll?
more?
I mean,
You
you
need
get more
3,
momentum.
so you need,
so
yeah. Well,
Oh, okay.
if somebody
Let's
wants
do
to
it.
Want me to
assist,
do
they
it?
can roll 1
Go ahead, you roll first.
Yeah,
with your control
5.
engineering.
Yeah, there
Okay,
you go.
you managed to get
Yeah.
3 successes. The reactor is back online.
We redeemed ourselves.
Yes.
Alright. So, after startup, restart the main computer as control plus science, difficulty of 2.
Control plus science. Ooh, I got 15.
I got 12.
11.
2 is 1.
Oh, 7 and 5.
Nice.
Okay, you match. Purge environmental contaminants. Insight plus medicine, difficulty of 3.
Okay.
Yeah, doctor.
Yes, 16.
Oh, nice. That's like an 8.
Okay.
That's what I am too.
5?
And 19.
Aww.
All right, what are
Spend
your,
one
what are
to
your
reroll.
focuses?
Yeah, spend 1.
My what'd you say?
Spend 1 to reroll.
I-
Well, what was the focuses though? What were we trying to do? Decapitation?
Sciences, infectious
Trying to-
disease. What are we doing here?
You're purging contaminants.
Purging the contaminants out.
Is that
Infectious disease?
Yeah.
There we go. So that 5 would count as 2.
Okay.
There we go.
So we're good.
So we don't have to spend a momentum on it.
All
No, you
right.
still need one more.
Oh,
What
you
do
do
you-
need two?
Yeah.
Okay.
We need
So we'll
three,
spend a momentum to reroll
four
19, yeah.
momentum.
Okay.
Yep.
15.
Oh man.
What was your number?
But my number
Her number's
was.
15, right?
Or was it
Or
16?
16. I think.
What was
Oh,
it?
yeah.
Insight and medicine?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So she's
16.
good.
Okay,
All
so,
right.
so 3 successes.
Okay. If you hadn't succeeded in all of these things, you would have just suffocated and died.
Oh,
Oh.
good. Hey.
So
All of us are
congratulations,
just her.
Good us.
all of you.
All right.
That would have been really bad.
Yeah, we just got the breathers on too. I mean, it's
Yeah. Yeah.
We just got safe. Yeah.
All right. Now that you've secured engineering, you can explore the remainder of the night side of the facility. With the main computer back online, you can also learn the exact timeline of what happened, attempt to contact the day side of the base. You can explore the transit center, which connects the two parts of the base, and the environmental controls, which are apparently infested with neuroparasites.
Let's try to contact somebody on the daylight side.
Okay, it's going to be a daring plus engineering with a difficulty of 3.
14.
Engineering. I got a
15.
12.
9.
Back to the engineer.
Yeah.
Can I assist him with one?
Yes, you can assist him with
Okay.
one.
Ah.
Got a 1.
I got a 9 and a 15.
Okay, 2 successes there and 1 there.
2 here. I'm a 15.
Okay.
Daring and engineering. Yeah.
You get 1 momentum back.
Oh, difficulty
All
3.
right.
Yes.
All right.
Yeah, nice.
You establish a link. The main computer here is for the primary core of the base and its operations. It doesn't have access to the research data, which is kept in secure drives in the day side of the base. So you managed to make a link to the data that they had on board, and it's going to be slowly copying the data over. Instead of actually contacting someone, you've actually managed to collect the research data, but it's going to take 8 hours.
Uh-oh.
It's a very slow connection.
I thought this
Hire Bob
Star
Modem.
Trek world.
Is there a way we can speed it
Computer,
up?
speed up.
What about a jerry rig? Could do that.
Again, the computer thinks there are either 24, 47, or 942 life forms aboard the space.
It thinks it's how many?
24, 47, or 942.
We're pretty sure we've at least seen 20 dead, so it's probably the 24.
At this
Well,
rate,
the 942 might be the cells. If each one of those registers.
Each
I'm
one of
right.
those
No, wait a minute.
That wouldn't
No,
be
in the
improvement.
episode, they did not register as life forms
Right.
No.
for some reason.
Yeah, that would be parasite.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No. So we're looking for
There's no shark
24
involved
people.
in there, is there?
There could be.
Okay.
A space shark?
Yeah, space
Sky
shark.
shark.
With lasers on its head.
Sure, you got snakes on a plane. You can certainly have sharks in space.
Or dinosaurs on a spaceship.
You got Sharknado.
Sharknado.
Alright, so the transit center. Located near the rim of the crater, the transit center is a small building that houses the night side end of both tram lines that lead over the surface of the planet to the day side base. These trams are tubes of metal to shield travelers from stellar radiation on the surface. When you arrive, you discover 4 more dead bodies, one of which was killed with a long slice down across the chest, while the other 3 died of exposure to gases vented in engineering. One of them looks like he was badly burned before he died, and the wound is bandaged. 2 of them have puncture wounds on their neck or back, but the effect on the nervous system does not appear to be as severe. Insight plus medicine, difficulty of 1.
Doctor?
That's me. Okay.
So somebody's got a big blade we need to watch out for, too.
Evidently.
Yes.
But I'm ready for
Okay.
my
I think I
old
got
blade.
both of those.
So,
That's 16.
And a
was mine.
type 3.
I got a
phaser.
2
Yes,
and a
yeah.
12.
okay, you get 1 momentum.
And I got my type 3 rifle. Phaser rifle.
There.
The crew with the puncture wounds must have died before the effects of the wound could occur.
Mm.
Task also reveals that whatever bladed weapon killed the crew here is likely the same one that killed Commander Welkin. There's a tricorder next to one of the bodies. There's only one file of note to be found on the device. It appears to be readings of trace elements of an explosive compound. Successful control plus science, difficulty of 1.
11.
12 plus science.
Oh, I have 15.
11.
I got 12.
The science officer kind of makes sense, yeah.
Yes. Oh, 1 and 18.
So we'll go with the ones that double.
Yeah. You get 1 momentum. Stop piling on
Oh,
this
yeah.
momentum here, which you're going to need pretty soon. All right.
Thanks. And thank you. Thanks.
Yes. Similar trace elements rise in concentration closer to Tram 2-1. So the trace of explosive compound. Tram 2 is sealed by emergency bulkheads. Even now, the metal of the bulkheads is glowing slightly and is too hot to approach. System reports a malfunction. Fire suppression systems are offline. A daring plus engineering with a difficulty of 3 can get the system and vent the tube back into space.
Daring
Plus engineering. I got 15.
14.
Go for it, Mr. Engineer.
I will assist you, sir.
Yeah.
I got 1 and 18.
I got it too.
Okay, so you get the 3 successes.
There you go.
Huzzah.
Okay, you managed to vent the. It doesn't actually make the tube usable, but at least the fire's out.
There you go.
Glad to help, sir.
You done
Tram
good, kid.
2-1 appears to be
sir.
functional, but the tram
There's
is
this red shirt you can wear.
at the other end of the tube. Tram tube is trapped, just like the other, with explosive charges, apparently. Simply calling the tram will set them off.
Uh-oh.
Simply calling tram.
The tram tube, the actual
Tram's at the
device
other
that
end of
takes
the
you
tube,
from one
but
end to
if
the
you
other,
ask for
is
it,
stuck
it's
on the
not
other
gonna-
side and covered in explosives.
Oh, okay, I gotcha. Alright, so
So
I'm
nobody
supposed to do
pushed
something
that
about
button.
Yeah. What we do is we tape a toilet paper tube right around it so nobody can push it in.
There you go.
That's just a thought.
Finally, there is an airlock that leads out into the surface, although still shielded by the crater wall from the star's harsh radiation. Inside the airlock is the only survivor of the night side not totally driven mad by pain. Hiding inside a locker, using reserve oxygen to stay alive, you find Amelia Adams. It's barely conscious.
Oh,
Alright.
Got her.
Double A.
Barely conscious. She might need some
Does she have a thing on her
we
neck?
should try to heal
Medical
her.
person.
Yes, we
Let's
need to
help her.
revive her.
Okay, presence plus command.
Presence and command.
Presence.
12.
Difficulty of 2.
12.
9.
13.
This is
Do-
where
do
the
your
command
thing.
people would do better, but since none of you
Oh.
are that, then it doesn't really come up that often.
Mm-hmm.
7
Okay.
7.
and 14.
Okay, so you need one more success.
So do I need to
What are
There
we
you go.
trying to do?
Trying to calm her down,
Hold on, whoa,
Trying
whoa,
to
whoa, whoa.
revive her.
revive her, and
What
then
can you do with these things?
Does she have?
Emergency
Add
medicine?
Yeah, she's got.
Well, what was the
emergency
one
medicine.
score? The lower one was
With the
7.
14.
Yeah.
That would take it to a 13.
It needs to be the same as the discipline score, so or lower,
Yeah.
Okay, so we need to spend a moment.
which would have been medicine, which would be 5. So it needs to be 5 or lower in order to
And I
apply
do have
focus.
a med kit. Is that going to help?
Yeah, you can. You find that she has a
He lets it happen.
Okay.
yeah.
Otherwise,
He can
the story
resist.
gets dumb.
Pretty much. Okay. So she's crying out in pain. She has a scratch running up her neck where a parasite apparently grazed her, but it did not puncture her.
She's fine.
So she feels agonizing pain, and that's why the presence command was trying to calm her down. I guess you can do like
Get that man an aspirin.
presence and medicine. Difficulty of 2. If that's any better for you.
Presence and medicine. Okay. That's 15.
Okay.
There you go.
Yes.
Try that.
So, just one dice?
2
2.
dice.
2.
2. Okay. Different 2.
Yeah, 5 and a 20.
5 and
Hmm.
So spend the momentum to remove that 20.
Right.
To
Yeah,
reroll the
reroll
20.
that.
Reroll the 20.
Okay.
You got plenty of momentum. I wouldn't worry about it too much.
Dice.
Too much.
Ooh.
And then
9.
9.
Okay. You
So,
managed to get her to
9 and
calm her
2?
down and basically anesthetize
Five,
the
okay.
pain.
Well, the medicine is
Yeah.
5. So okay, now we can see are there any of the focuses that she has would be applicable.
Okay.
And then
What are
we
your
did-
focuses again?
Emergency
Right.
medicine's one of them.
Yeah. All right.
So that would now is double. So that'd be 3 successes then.
Yes.
And I have a
Everybody's
med
momentum
kit,
then?
too.
You
Are
want it
those
back.
two?
All right, fine. You finish it.
Fighting! Get that thing back, baby.
All right, fine.
Can't you
Amelia.
use finances for something?
Well, what was the budget on the base?
Amelia does not know what the parasites are. She knows they came from the surface of the planet, and they may have been stowaways in the hull of a previous vessel that supplied the base a few weeks ago. She tells you basically what happened up to the environmental breach, although she spent most of that time hiding in her quarters and then ultimately here. She does know one thing, that Vital has gone mad and has killed more than one crew with his Lirpa.
Oh.
Worse, he has turned on the stellar inversion drive, which might result in the destruction of his entire system. Stresses that they must find a way to stop him before Dran Enko's star loses its cohesion and destroys the base and everyone on it.
Okay. So we need to find him.
We need to find him.
Old man messaged, a little peroxide will help with the scratch. A little wine will calm him down.
Okay.
Okay.
We don't have either one.
No.
No.
Okay.
I can whine pretty well if I have to.
Thanks, Dad. You brought this on us.
What's going on?
That's enough.
Did I do that? Okay.
All right.
At this point, you
Save
receive
us.
you receive a message from your ship, the USS Dayton.
All right.
The Cardassians are on their way.
Uh-oh.
Long-range sensors detect 2 Cardassian Galler-class cruisers approaching the Dran Enko system at high warp. Their signature matches the ship's shadowed you at the start of the mission. They also received an audio message they can relay to you. This is Gol and Vok of the Sixth Order. Your presence in the Dran Enko system is clearly in violation of the treaty. By order of the Cardassian High Command, we order you to leave the system immediately. Warning 1 of 1 delivered. And Vok out. Sensors indicate the cruisers will enter the system in a little over 2 hours.
Still picturing Kim Kardashian.
They're both pretty cold-blooded, yeah.
So we don't have time for the data transfer.
No, the data transfer is going to take 8 hours.
Right.
And that's one thing Starfleet at least wanted you to do, was necessarily figure out what was going on, try to help the crew, try to save any survivors, or save the information that they were trying to collect,
Right.
and get out before the Cardassians get here in 2 hours.
But we're actually in a neutral zone, isn't that
Yeah,
correct?
yeah,
So
So
that
their
doesn't mean
so
that's
that's
claim,
like,
their claim may be disputed.
yes.
or we could just die.
Well, okay.
Well, yeah.
The whole question, right, is so we're trying to transfer the data from from their database to ours, right?
Yes.
On some kind of device we have
Yes.
place there.
Yeah.
Is there any place where it's literally the hardware that we can just pull out, the isolating chips
Literally
or the
take
hard
it
drive?
with us.
Exactly.
You believe that's where Vitol might be right now.
Okay.
Here's my thinking. We get double A, and we go back to the ship, and we let the sun do its thing on the planet and take care of everybody. Because she's the only one we found. Is there anybody else left around other than this dude with the blade that's slicing everybody all up?
There's 24 over on the daylight side.
24 people? What do we care about that?
I think we're supposed to be. We're a rescue.
Like the
I
entire
think
section
you
of Act
neutral
3, the
evil
last
D&D.
section of this is supposed to, track down to the day side.
But we
find
only got
everything.
2 hours before the whole planet is going to either be attacked or another 6 hours or so before it's going to get blasted by the sun, right?
Well, now that you have the power back on, you could just go back to the shuttle bay and repair your shuttlecraft and get out of there.
Oh.
That's true.
See, that's what I'm thinking. I mean, we got double A. She can at least explain the phenomena to the best of her ability.
How far away is the nearest Federation support? In
A
terms of
long
ships?
ways away. You're the
Oh.
as
We're
usual in
always-
Star Trek. You are the
Well,
only
yeah,
ones.
skirts, all
Yes,
right.
yes,
Just making sure.
yeah.
Can't call for help. Okay.
You know that within 2 hours, the Cardassians will storm this place and probably get infected with the neuroparasites themselves as well. But
That's a really good idea.
Yeah, I'd say let's leave and don't give them any information. They'll be blundering around just like we did for
But
a couple
they-
hours, and they
yeah.
can get.
Yeah, the whole thing will just wipe. The star doesn't wipe them out. The parasites will, and everything else just
If anything, it would be better then if we're planning on doing that, to wipe the data on their hard drives instead of trying copying it over. That way, even if the Cardassians are able to get here, there'd be nothing to find.
The Starfleet really wants that data.
Yeah. We want our lives.
I mean, it's important to
Did we ever ask whether there's a way to speed it up?
No, there is no way to speed it up. The
Oh.
only way
And
is
aside from
like I
finding the
said,
hard drive itself.
direct access to the hard drives is on the day side where Vitol is.
Okay.
So let's find Vital.
Do we have the ability to contact the Kardashians and counter bluff them?
Cardassians.
I've got a couple of these professional basketball players. Maybe you'd be interested in.
Can we contact the
They've
enemy
already
and say,
they've already
"This
pretty much
is-"
they've already sent their message, and it's like
Okay.
their one warning, and they will arrive within 2 hours and shoot whatever is there.
Okay. Do we have planetary defense?
Beyond the parasites that are already on there, if you want to count them as planetary defense, or the star that's about to go up.
Maybe
in
against
about-
ground troops, but aside from that.
Okay.
Do
don't
we
have
have,
any-
planetary defense?
No,
Okay.
no. The planet has its own defenses that will kill regardless. But yeah.
Is our ship stronger than their 2 ships?
Oh no, definitely not.
Okay.
Let's get out of here.
Okay, then we gotta get back to the shuttle.
Yeah.
All right, that's a fairly simple. It's going to be a control plus engineering difficulty of 3 to
All right.
repair your shuttlecraft to get out of
Yeah,
here.
14.
14 on that. So
14.
how about I assist you?
All right.
So you'll roll 2, I roll 1. Yeah.
I got 3 and a 15.
I got a 3, and I have small craft as one of my focuses, so that'd be double success there. So that'll be.
All right, you managed to get your. Amelia is kind of disappointed, but you did one thing.
Hey, we got double A, you know?
Yeah.
All right.
You should have backed up your data more and had a copy of it yourself.
Well, that just cuts off the whole
Yeah.
third section of the mission, but it's,
Okay.
it's fine.
Well, we repaired it, but we didn't say we were taking it back yet.
Yeah, it's just
That's
it's
true. It's
lying in
repaired.
wait. We could
Yeah.
bumble around for another
We
hour
got
or
another
so,
hour and a half to mess with.
or die.
At least we can get off because we got the shuttle.
If we
Okay.
don't die in the hour.
We have communications up with the ship, right?
Yeah.
Maybe you should ask the captain what the captain wants us to do.
Ah,
That's a good idea.
yeah. Let's ask the captain.
Make a
Well,
decision.
you could turn off the stellar shield from your side. It's going to be control plus engineering, difficulty of 3. That would let you transport over to the other side without having to call the tram.
Okay.
Oh, that's.
Yeah, otherwise I was doing it
There you
difficult, yeah.
Okay. All right.
Can we also?
Of course, turning off the solar shields will also have huge amounts of radiation coming through as well. So,
Well, yeah, but that might take care of the little bat things.
Yeah, that'll get rid of the
If
parasites.
they
on
survive
one
in
side.
space,
Hey,
It might
you
not affect
watch
them.
the show.
We just need enough light to get them.
all right. Control and engineering, difficulty of 3.
Control and engineering.
That's me.
I will assist you,
Good
sir.
him. I have 15 and a 2.
I did not assist you. I got 16.
Oh, can I assist? I have 14.
So
Roll
she-
1, I guess.
Or not.
How many can do it?
You still need 2 more successes
5.
anyways, but
She threw a 5.
If each of us, yeah. So she had a success. So we need one more success. In it?
yeah.
Does that mean she and I can also
Well,
try?
In general, each one of you will take 1, let's see.
Well, I got focus on transport and replicators. Does that help?
Yeah, that turns us to 1 or a 0.
Yeah.
I have physics and ancient technology and reverse engineering and computers.
What's extra
really smart.
tech?
All right, you managed to do it.
All right.
It's fine.
Excellent.
Otherwise, you're just going to take 1 point of stress, but,
Yeah, we don't want to do all that.
no.
It's too hard.
You have to mark off in your stress counter. Not that any of you have even been injured in this, but, it's kind of been trying to avoid that kind of conflict.
We have a
because, like I
high
said-
standard.
Yeah, we're
Yeah.
good at avoiding conflict.
Oh, yeah.
We want
So
to
you
walk
beam over
away
to the
with
day
no
side.
marks.
Assuming you brought Adams along?
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Okay. What are we doing next?
I don't know. I didn't hear it.
The day side of the Angstrom Research Facility is a relatively small place. There's a small transit center leading directly into the main research area. Off this are a few private offices and storage lockers. When you arrive, Vital, who is covered in neural parasites, is in the center of the research area.
Wow.
Operating the controls of a device that is unleashing a stream of highly charged particles into the Dranenko star, destabilizing its surface and causing the star to lose cohesion.
So
He's at the stellar inversion drive.
Mm-hmm. He's messing with me.
Mm-hmm.
Is
So
this
we
the
need
guy
to-
we're trying to kill?
We need to stop him.
Yes.
Vital holds
He's the guy
his
killing everybody.
large bladed weapon and just swings it around at anyone who tries to approach it.
Was he a good guy before he was
Yeah,
all...
yeah.
Let's phase the boy out of here.
Can we heal him from his parasites?
We can try.
Can I hit him with a
It's gonna be-
phaser type 2 rifle?
It's going to be presence plus command with a difficulty of 3 if the Vulcan does it.
plus.
13.
I got
I
10.
got a 12.
She got 13, but you're not a Vulcan.
Presence plus.
What do you got, Jules?
Isn't
Oh,
Julie
I-
a Vulcan? Are you a
Yeah.
Vulcan?
She's the one.
Presence plus command, you say?
Yes.
I have 9.
But she's a Vulcan.
It has
See,
to
if
be-
you spend,
He
you,
has 14.
you get more dice if you spend these momentum, which is why I said you know.
Hey, 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 hey!
Hey, hey.
Get over here. We need you.
Okay, so
Sorry, I
we can
took a water
spend up
there.
some of the
Pilot health.
momentums.
You spend 1 momentum for your first die, 2 momentum for the next, 3 for another one.
But if
so.
you spend 1 momentum, you can get an extra die right off
Yeah,
the bat, right?
yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
You roll 3
But you
dice.
got the highest number of whatever's for what we need.
We need.
Whatever's.
We need
Yeah.
Presence and command.
and command.
I have 13.
12?
Oh, sorry, I read his board wrong.
Oh,
Oops.
man. Leave it to a Vulcan.
Sliding accuracy.
You're as bad as me at these things.
I know.
She has the whole nerve pinch going on.
Oh
Maybe
yeah, I have
she
the
can-
nerve pinch.
Maybe she
Can
can
I?
get close enough to him
pinch
to.
him?
Oh, he'll slice you up before you even get your arm out there.
Well, I don't know if I actually have to physically pinch him. It's just
Can we
called
stun
nerve
him and
pinch.
then she pinches him?
I
You
could
can also
we
do
gotta
an
stun him with a
insight
phaser.
plus science check to try to convince Vital of what he's doing is destroying things.
Ooh, insight plus science.
We can
Yes.
understand
I
that.
have 14. For
That would,
that.
if you succeed, you
Oh, that
reduce the
would-
difficulty by 1.
Okay.
Oh, so I okay.
That's worth doing.
Okay, 14. I have one 14, and then the other one is 18.
And she can re-roll with the momentum, right?
Yeah, you reroll 1 with momentum.
Roll 1 more.
Please, 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 please. 17.
Or roll worse, you know.
Well, no, one's 1 better.
1 better, yeah.
What's 1 better? You want to spend 2 more momentum
2 more momentum.
To reroll the
to
17.
roll the
Is
17?
it worth it?
Maybe.
We have lots of momentum right now.
You do.
Well, we won't have too much. I mean, we still got to get out of here with
You're in the
our
last
eyes.
act of this thing, so
Yeah. We got enough.
You might as well use up
Let's just
momentum.
do it.
Sure,
if
yeah.
you can at
Life
least convince
dangerously.
Vital to turn off the stellar inversion drive.
Okay, we're using up 2 more.
Okay.
Alright, spend 2.
There we
One.
go.
Yay!
Oh!
So 3
All right.
successes for her. All
You
right.
get 1 back.
Hey, look at that. It's worth it.
Yeah, it was worth it.
And now the difficulty to convince her is 2. So it's still going to be presence command.
Presence command.
Plus
Yeah.
command.
Okay.
Yep.
Mine's 12.
Mine's 9.
Mine's
10.
12.
Mine's 13.
All right.
Oh,
But I'm not a good roller, but.
Yeah, but you're a healer. Let's see what you can do.
Do it.
Okay.
Do it to it. Okay, you got this. A
1.
1 and a
Yeah.
2.
Yay!
All right.
Nice.
That should convince
The
him.
triple who had 15.
You get 1.
All right, we got our momentum back.
Okay.
Somehow.
Send the triple in. If he
Vital
slices
has
it.
been reasoned with. I mean, he's still infested with parasites, but at least he's willing to shut down the engine before it causes further damage.
Okay, good.
I don't get that much going.
And you have about 1 hour left before the Cardassians show up.
Can we get the drive?
Can we take the hardware with us?
All right, make a.
Can't we just phase the guy? Now
We
that
don't
he's-
need to now.
He's not that cooperative. You know, he's gonna. Oh, well, I'll at least do this.
He's better at being able to reason because he's a Vulcan. He's able to have more control over his faculties.
okay.
So logical crazy.
Yeah, yeah.
All right, Julie, you're gonna have to keep your eye on him. He starts unvulcanizing.
All right, in order to remove,
Yeah, right. Yeah.
in order to remove, it's going to be a daring and engineering difficulty of 3.
14.
Daring,
I got a
15.
12.
Anyone want to assist him?
Assist.
There we go.
Maybe spend 1 for an extra die.
We need this to succeed, so.
You need this to succeed.
I got a 2, a 6, and a 19.
You got
Oh,
a
and a
1.
1.
All right.
1. There
You
go.
managed to make it.
Alright, I got
You
it.
get the information. Vital believes that if he just wants to stay here and if the Cardassians show up, he can basically be a distraction. Or basically, he knows he can't get rid of these neural parasites that they're just.
Sacrificial dude.
Yeah.
Wow. That's crazy.
Okay. That'd probably be better than letting him on the ship.
Probably.
Could we maybe set it up so that
Vulcan
there's like an auto destruct on here, so you can just press the button for when they land?
I think
The
it'll
star
take
soon
care of
enough,
itself.
Yeah, the star is going to take care of things pretty soon anyway. So, control plus con to pilot your way back out of here.
Okay.
Because
15.
don't fail that like this time. So, the difficulty of 3.
I got 13.
I got
Anybody want to
13.
assist me on this then?
Nine.
I'll assist.
Thank
Alright.
you. Okay.
See anything there?
All right. 7 and 6.
Okay.
That does it.
I got it.
All right. You
Great.
managed to pilot back to your ship with Amelia and the data cartridges thing.
Wow.
Do we have time to warp out?
And if you warp out, if you're allowed to enter the base, the Cardassians send a 6-person exploration team led by Goel and Locke himself. They are soon attacked by hostile scientists and neuroparasites alike.
So they're attacked.
Yes. So at this point, it's like the Cardassians show up, you've already left, and they make their way to operations, trying to close out all remote access, locking out all the comms. They're trying to fight their way through, and of course, everything just dies.
Okay.
Okay. Don't we need to leave the system or something first?
Well, yeah, you're already on your own ship, and you're
We
already
warped out.
warped out.
Mhm.
And we
Yeah.
warped out of there. Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
It was a
Hey!
So we
successful
won.
mission.
You
Well, of course we
succeeded.
did.
Yes.
And without a scratch, I might add.
Because I edited a lot of
Oh,
things in the
shit.
mission
Right.
to kind
I'm sure you
of avoid that consequence. I mean, and that's basically how most of the missions are written. And that was kind of like the simpler ones. There's other ones that are like, okay, what section of rules am I going to, and other things that are just not that great.
Okay.
So, what'd you think?
I liked it better than the last time we played it.
Yeah. I felt like, yeah.
I thought it moved pretty well.
Well, the last one David had written.
Oh.
I made that myself,
Oh,
so
you made
thanks
that
for
one.
yeah.
Oh, sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah, that last one was horrible.
No, I think the storyline on this one
Yeah.
was sort of cooler.
Yeah.
It seemed to move quicker. I don't know if it did or not.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
Well, again, you skipped things,
I
so.
skipped things, yeah.
Oh, okay.
They were supposed to have more than 2 attacks by these crazy scientists and stuff, and I just like, well, include a couple of them, but you know,
That was enough.
yeah,
So in your book, if does it say if this happens, go to page?
kind of, sorta, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
More commentary.
The guys at church were just messing each other things. I don't know what. I'm gonna skip it right now.
Oh.
I liked it.
All right.
Do we like the character sheets and everything? How-
Yeah.
The character
Yeah.
sheets is very
So-
nice.
Yeah,
Easy to
I
read.
like this one
That
way
helped.
better than other ones. This one seemed easier to read.
It was easy to
Mhm.
read.
Yeah.
You know,
Yes.
and it was, yeah, I liked it.
Is the system in and of itself easier to understand?
Then Dungeons and Dragons.
Yes.
Because there's only 2 types of dice.
Yeah, I think.
simplified it a lot.
Now on the
Man, I
D&D,
need simple.
you draw on things.
Yeah, there are maps and stuff that we
Yeah,
made.
I
to do
kind of
that.
like that part.
Yeah. I feel like there wasn't like a whole lot of visual stuff.
Well, the way that Star Trek works, it doesn't actually have any like 5-foot squares. It has like distances. So you're like close range, near, far range, and so it has certain like grids of generalized areas of the difficulty would raise on a ranged attack. So it would go up from 2 to 3 if you were further away from them, harder to hit. And there's also the it's daring and security versus their daring and security when you're trying to hand combat them.
Mm-hmm.
Hence why your daring and control and security were so high.
And you're just like, don't let them get close because they're parasites. In fact, you'd shoot them
Right.
And it seemed like everybody got to roll.
a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that
Everybody got to
was
participate.
really good. It wasn't like
Someone
it
was
wasn't
rolling
too
all the
lopsided.
time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, the last time too, we also split the party. So part of the crew was, on the ship still, and the other part was on the planet. So,
Yeah,
it-
and then left all them out pretty
Yeah.
much, unless there was some.
And then Robert fell bored. And,
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
didn't, never wanted to come back again.
Wow.
Don't worry, he does that a lot with a lot of things.
Okay. Well, I like it.
All right. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for playing.
All right. Thank you.
Thank
Thank you,
you.
David.
Yeah.
Yeah, really, it was good. I liked
Yes.
All right.
Me too.
it. Changing subject a little tiny bit.
Okay.
Let's see if I got this right. Studio C. You familiar with it?
Okay. You've heard of it, yeah.
It's on the internet. It's on YouTube a lot. There's all these little skits.
Okay.
And they're put on by Brigham Young University students. And it's family-friendly skits, like comedy skits. And they're pretty good. But now I think the founding members have broken away now. And they're called something else. And they're still doing the same thing. But they're no longer under the auspices, I think, of Brigham Young. But at any rate, I was watching their little skits, and they take on like all kinds of relatively current things. And they have this one skit, and it's got Darth Sidious with his college roommates. It is just kind of funny. The guy that plays Darth Sidious is really, really good. And he kind of comes walking in, and the other roommates are all sitting around playing video games, and he comes in, and he's trying to convince them to become more evil and strike him down. And he makes all these little faces, and he talks just like on the movie. And it's pretty cute. I thought it was good. They also do a whole Star Wars series of them, not just that one. But I didn't know if you'd ever heard of them or not. Rob's big fanatic on them.
Now, we also saw that one guy, the Star Wars guy who's grown up playing D&D. You guys have probably seen that.
That's Star Trek. Yeah.
Oh, Star Trek guy. Star Trek guy.
Yeah,
Will Wheaton?
Yes.
Will Wheaton.
Yes.
Have you seen that one, Pete?
Yeah.
And I think they took his show off the air because I think it wasn't very interesting.
I mean, it was on YouTube.
We
And
saw
they
it
had,
on PBS, I think.
Yeah, it was on TV, but
yeah, local TV, I guess, sometimes airs those YouTube channels.
Well, there's
and
the
stuff.
to be announced.
To be announced, or My TV or something, one of those,
Yeah.
side channels that picks up a lot of
Or to be determined. That was TBD.
TV.
Oh, yeah.
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 And so a lot of times they'll play his series of tabletop, just
Yeah,
various
tabletop
games.
Yeah.
various games. Yeah. They haven't had any new episodes in some time. They've had I think 3 or 4 seasons, and they've been trying to raise money to afford further seasons, basically sponsorships of whatever game they're featuring in an episode. And they didn't get their last goal, or I guess other people have been too busy doing other things, and they just haven't had any new ones in a while. But
Everybody grew up.
But they also had this new one called Titan's Grave that he co-developed with the Fantasy Age style, which is what the Dragon Age RPG, tabletop RPG is based on. And when he ran that game, which was more proper D&D style, but he had the way he dungeon masters, the way he game masters is basically, I am telling you the story, and you're just going to go uh-huh or no.
Yeah.
Rather than letting the players have their kind of discussion about it and kind of
We did notice he was more of a dominant.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, almost like.
Yeah, well, there's one episode where they were all the characters were having dream sequences. So he described these long dreams, and they each had maybe 2, maybe 3 decisions to make, and that was it.
It's like choose your own adventure thing. It's like, do you want to go through this door or that door? And then he just reads off the next section. It's like, that's not DMing.
That's just you telling a story, and then everybody else listening to it. It's like, there's more interaction here. It's supposed to be a group telling story.
Okay.
Yeah. But when he treated the entire game like that, I was like, you're not a very good game master, are you?
You guys like to hear yourself talk.
Probably so.
Yeah, that's what I kind of felt like when we were watching it. It was mostly about him.
Yeah. It's like, listen to my storytelling skill.
Right.
And it really wasn't that great.
It was like half the missions in the first book of this, we just had to improvise on the spot just because it took us in a direction like this doesn't make any sense. We're Star Trek fans. We know what's supposed to be going on, and you wrote it like an idiot, so we're just going to change this.
Well, you remember from Next Generation, one of the early seasons on, they had a little parasite thing that was taking over the admirals, and they had to kill one of them, and they had the mother version inside. They had to kill it too.
Like a horrible prop effect. Of,
Worse, murder, death scene on the screen. But anyways, there was an adventure that included them, and we were supposed to try to take them out, but instead we got knocked unconscious, and 2 of us got infected with them. And so basically it was kind of a conundrum of, okay, We have grills growing on our necks now, so it's kind of obvious there. And how would Starfleet really react to this? You know, because like, okay, they eventually are able to develop a drug in order to, like, resist the effects of the
They
parasite.
can't remove it without killing it, but they can at least suppress it.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah.
And so as long as they keep it suppressed, they can be normal.
Yeah.
Why would they want to suppress it? Why wouldn't they just view it as an evolving life form?
Because it's dangerous and wants to kill everyone that's not it.
It's possessing their crew members too.
Yeah, if
so.
it can't possess you, it kills you. So,
So then it was a question of like,
Or die.
that's a question then of like, okay, well, where does Starfleet then keep their rights and privileges? You know, because okay, you have the right to have certain beliefs and you know in their structure, but then
Yeah,
if you're being
okay.
possessed by a creature, then like, how far does it go? Like, if the creature's not being hostile to everybody, are you okay to work on anyways, or do you have to be off duty now, or yeah, it was confusing.
I can understand
So are you
that.
going through these games in a row or not?
with our Monday group, once we finish our Acquisitions Incorporated D&D, we're going to start again with a new set of Star Trek characters
Oh,
and
okay.
go through those. The way this one is structured, because they actually have a section, they're supposed to be either the Archer, so Enterprise, prequel series. You can be original series, Kirk, or Next Gen, Picard. So there's 3 eras of gameplay and 3 different options in terms of what the enemies are, what kind of setting, what kind of weapons, what kind of stuff
No
you would
Deep
have.
Space Nine.
Deep Space Nine is pretty much it's in the same era as Next Gen. Within the same decade or so, all the stuff happened all at the same time.
And how many games are in one book?
Like usually 9 or 10 missions.
Oh,
So that was just
okay.
one of
Interesting.
Okay, which one was Janeway?
Janeway's Voyager.
And is that covered in that thing too?
Oh, okay.
Technically, Discovery would be 2 because that's 10 years before the original series, but I've only seen a few actual fans of Discovery make up stats for Discovery equipment. So one of the missions that we had, it was at the end of the previous book, that they somehow needed to eject their warp core because it was going to breach. And so they did, and so it caused a black hole. And instead of destroying the ship, I had them maneuver so that they could actually go into the mirror universe. So I just sent them to the mirror universe and to Discovery mirror universe. They were actually playing in the original series at the time. So I was like, we'll have a mission to still attack on Discovery. And I looked at as much as I could in the stats and all the stuff, and I made up a mission of them just infiltrating the ship and finding a way to destroy it because we all hate Discovery. It's a terrible show.
There you go.
We had fun. We made fun out of it.
What is the science behind the mirror universe? Because I can kind of understand, you know, like a solar system where planets on
I
the
know,
opposite
I didn't know
side
that.
of
I
a
couldn't.
star system, you know, and you'd never really see them, but they'd be exactly the same. Just
Well, mirror
Yeah.
universe is kind of a parallel universe that they aren't really supposed to be able
how
to
can
cross or
how
coexist.
can you scientifically have a mirror universe?
Or it's like a different timeline, pretty much. It's
Different
it-
sequence of events happen. It's supposed to be a number, like a lot of, especially like DC Comics likes to use the parallel infinite verse.
multiverse notion.
Yeah, multiverse
Yeah.
theory.
Amazing.
And they'll say that there are any number of possible outcomes to any action that you make, and each one of them make a slight little derivative version of existence.
So basically, in the mirror universe, it all. I think the main divergence is when the Vulcans first appear on Earth, and
Instead of reading them, Zephyr Cochrane shoots them and takes their ship. They showed that in the Enterprise prequel, basically saying, we're going to be the Imperials instead of the good guys.
Was there a Star Trek episode, but maybe I'm confusing it with Outer Limits?
Do you know
But
that
I
Star
think
Trek
it was a
book?
Star Trek
It's a
episode
mirror,
where it was
mirror.
one guy,
Mirror.
Mirror, is that what it was called?
There were several of them. There was one in the original series, one in Deep Space Nine. They went to the Mirror Universe. Yeah,
a number of these.
a couple of them. Yeah,
They
Okay.
have that on Netflix too.
none in Next Gen, but there is a comic series that includes a really buffed up
Next
John
John
Luke
find the comics.
in the alternate
Oh.
universe.
It's pretty funny how like modified
Well,
things
that's
are.
kind of the opposite of the number one. Is that right? No, it's almost the opposite thing with
Oh yeah.
when
So here's
Picard
Spock right here.
got stabbed in the heart or something like that, and
Here's
then he
Spock,
became
right?
tough, or he
Yes.
became
Okay.
real
He decided to be
conservative,
cowardly,
and he didn't really.
Timid.
Yeah, he didn't succeed, and he kept going to number one and wanting
This
to
is
be
the doctor.
promoted because he thinks he's
So this is the
deserving
through
of
the
better.
mirror. So they have this more cyborg version of.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. So they kind of covered the mirror universe in Next Gen through that.
Yeah, Julie's not seen that Star Trek much. But Julie says they have it on Netflix, so
Oh,
Yeah.
Man, I'll tell you.
she's just now watching Friends, so
Yeah.
A little behind the times.
she's a little behind the
Eh,
times.
it's all right.
Well, it's like 60
all
years of Star Trek, so it's gonna be a while.
Oh yeah, right.
But it's not like Doctor Who. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, I kind of
Yeah.
get enough on that.
Yeah, that'll wear you out.
Yeah, I guess I saw those newer ones. I like
Yes.
them.
Yes.
You showed those to me. Yeah.
Yes.
That was
Before
fun.
everything fell apart, and after the most recent Peter Capaldi's Doctor, and now Jodie Whittaker, nobody likes Doctor Who anymore either. But you know,
Okay.
that's
My sister still sort of kind of does and kind of doesn't.
Hang on to it.
I think because the Doctor's a female right now. Right?
yes.
That's the only reason she's still watching. I think
Wow.
Okay.
because women empowerment or whatever. That's my sister for you.
Well, I think some people already would be okay with that had there actually been episodes that more embodied
This is
her embracing
it's from the original
being female.
series.
Whereas realistically,
Oh,
most of all,
yeah.
everything she's doing, aside from the few times where she makes a comment of "I used to be a man," making things
Yeah.
awkward and kind of making a joke about it, if anything.
Yeah.
Which you would think, oh, with that's sort of a mindset that they wouldn't make jokes about it, but they do. That she never really delves into what would it be to have a female perspective on this character. A male character would just done the same thing.
Like she basically copies a lot of lines and mannerisms of David Tennant and Matt Smith, and it's like she doesn't really make the Doctor her own. And she
Oh,
had like
that's
10
too
episodes
bad.
to do it, and normally at least even Peter Capaldi had several speeches and stuff. A lot of doctors have certain events or certain reactions that it's like,
Mhm.
okay, this cements you as your version of the Doctor.
Mhm.
It makes you
Yeah.
a really good
Yeah.
quality.
Yeah.
You know,
Or she doesn't really.
she doesn't know nothing.
That's too bad.
Because even the scarf wearing guy that was on for like
Tom
way too
Baker.
Tom
long.
Baker,
It
It was good money, so yeah.
Yeah, I mean, he definitely had his own style.
Oh yeah,
I mean, there's no doubt about it. I mean, I didn't like his style.
Yeah.
Um,
he's like a jelly baby.
I just didn't like his style at all. I didn't like the show. I liked the beginning, but other than that, it was. I was young, so I wasn't so impressed with these special effects at the time, which were really way behind. Partly because we were watching the show.
Oh, yeah.
secondhand.
Yeah,
I mean,
yeah. By the time we got the 4th Doctor, they were already on the 7th Doctor, all the way to like canceling the show altogether. So
Yeah, and I just thought, whoa, I don't think I need to watch this anymore. It just didn't interest me that much. I didn't think his character was that. I didn't find his character that deep. Whereas I think the newer Doctors, I think you're able to read more in them or something. Maybe I'm wrong.
Well, it's like they've been re-releasing all the previous Doctor's episodes, remastering them for Blu-ray, and having all kinds of new bonus features and stuff because they can't sell the new stuff anymore, so they have to resell the old stuff. And the most recent release is Colin Baker, the 6th Doctor, and his season, Trial of the Time Lords. A 14-episode garbage fire.
Well, it's a
Gee,
trial, and
episodes
it
of
feels
a
like a trial to
garbage
watch it.
It is
because-
it is the worst thing Doctor Who has ever done. By far.
Wow.
Because it's like
Yes.
one really, really long episode stretched out between all these other ones.
So he's sitting in a courtroom and they're like trying to relate all these other things in the episode. And then it cuts back to them talking to this Valiard, who's supposed to be the last version of the Doctor. None of it makes any sense. All of it is just messed up, stupid, waste of time. And they're selling their thing for $50. I'm like, I ain't spending even $10 on it. This is garbage. This is the worst the Doctor has ever been.
Oh, okay.
Well, I think didn't they spontaneously introduce like 2 characters.
It was ridiculous. It got to the point where they had to cancel his Doctor entirely. He wouldn't even show up for his regeneration scene into Sylvester McCoy, the 7th Doctor.
Sylvester
they put-
McCoy had
they
to wear
put
a
in-
wig.
Yeah, like a red wig, curly wig, and then lie down on the ground and had the effects so he could get up and become the new Doctor. Because that was how bad the show had become.
I think high school students can come up with something better than that.
Yeah. What are you doing, Tim?
I was looking for a picture. Pam and I went to Cincinnati, which is a pinball thing down in Cincinnati back.
Yeah, I hear
Couple
you're
weeks
you're
ago.
renewing your fascination with pinball.
They had.
Oh, we
they
know
had
that
a
for
Doctor
sure.
Who pinball.
Oh,
Okay.
yeah, okay.
I was trying to find
We
a
got some of them
shot
in the
it.
in the garage.
Yeah,
How
they're
many?
keeping a couple machines.
A bowling machine, a pinball machine, a couple of
Two bowling machines.
Two bowling machines and a pinball, I think.
So there's a place in Cincinnati called Pin.
Well, it's a show. It's
Oh, it's a show.
yeah, there's the.
If you want to stop
Well, how about
saying
saying
that,
all
because
that?
we've been recording this the whole time, so it's been a wonderful
Oh, there is a
discussion.
Doctor
I'm glad
Who.
you're all watching. And now we're just going to go into a more personal conversation at this point. Okay, until next time, happy gaming. Bye-bye.